Okay, hello, am I on? Let me see. I'm already having I'm already having technical difficulties. Let's see. Okay, it looks like we're up now. That's why it took 5 minutes getting up here. Okay, I'm just making sure the mic is on too really quick because the I was having issues with that. Oh man, it would be. Of course, on this day there would be issues, but no matter. Oh man. Um, okay, I'm just making sure that people are coming in. Welcome. Ah, I see people already. Okay. Okay. Wow. Okay. Um, it is it's so early in the morning. I'm like on like one hand I'm like ready to go, but on the other hand I'm just like, "Oh my goodness, like what is actually happening?" To be completely honest, I haven't even processed like what today is really too much until right now. Um, this weekend was really, really busy for me. In fact, a little too busy, if I might add. I didn't even realize it was going to be like that until the weekend started on Friday. Even Thursday, honestly, was, yeah, like from Thursday to like Saturday, end of Saturday or like yesterday. Um, one thing after the next. But it is what it is. I'm finished with the weekend now. Now I get to actually relax and, you know, figure out everything that's going on. Um, oh man, if you guys only knew about my life, I mean, I honestly had no idea until I was like, oh crap, like I literally have no time. I literally had to write down my entire schedule of this live stream, even like just on my phone. So if you see me looking at my phone, that's entirely why, is because I have my entire schedule in there and I'm trying to make sure that I don't deviate too much from that. So yeah, I literally had to come up with that last night because I was just all over the place this weekend. So yeah, but now that that's over, welcome everybody to was here, who's possibly going to see this later. I have no idea. Um, but yeah, it's been 2 years. To be completely honest, it didn't really set in until like last night, and then my mind was like completely blown. I actually watched my very first live stream, very first video I have on this channel ever. I watched it just a little bit of it last night because it was an hour stream. Oh boy. Wow, it took me on a ride. I mean, oh no, just like I was in my old room. I had terrible lighting. I had no clue what I was doing. Um, yeah, just an entire mess to be honest. But I'm just thankful now. My videos have gotten better. That's really all you can ask for, I guess. A lot of people, like a lot of creators and stuff, they always say that like your first couple of videos are gonna be cringe. And now, especially looking back at it now, I'm like, oh yeah, like now I understand what they're saying. Cause ooh, yikes. I mean, even the first like couple of live streams and videos that I did on here, just I can't look at it like the same anymore. Now, like, to be completely honest, I'm still not 100% confident in my videos at times. There are some videos here and there where I'm just like, oh yeah, like that one I really snapped. Like that was a really good video. But there's other times where I'm just like, oh, I maybe could have done a little bit better, but it is what it is. Um, but yeah, it's been it's been wild. I mean, even like from just the overall like presence on my videos to like the thumbnails and pretty much everything else really it's gone it's gone a lot better now, thank goodness. I think even with shorts happening, this past year on YouTube. I feel like that's helped a lot of creators. Now, of course, then again, there's at this point every social media site is copying each other. But I think with YouTube Shorts now, I feel like that's pretty much helped. I feel like a lot of my subscribers, they come from my shorts. I actually saw that in my analytics a couple of days ago. It's so odd because most of the time I do have people who subscribe from my shorts. But I mean, I get a good amount of people subscribing for my videos too, but it's a little bit more from my shorts. Just very weird because it's really not the same. I mean, it's more like behind the scenes stuff really more than it is like the stuff on camera. So I find that really super interesting, honestly. Um, yeah. Yeah. Even yeah, just even like I saw my thumbnails too, like a couple of minutes ago too, and I'm like, wow, like I was so lazy in doing that. It's literally just writing in a black screen and like pictures from whatever music video I'm watching that video, and I'm just like, oh, like come on, you could have tried a little bit harder with that. Now, of course, it's a little bit easier. I am planning on doing a revamp of my thumbnails though soon. I just have to figure out exactly how to use the program that I'm gonna use. So yeah, same thing with videos too, actually. I think I'm gonna try to switch up my video style. I know I have like the words on all the music videos and stuff that I do. That's usually for copyright purposes because I sometimes get crap for that. I'm gonna be honest, especially with the copyright system on this platform. It's really challenging at times, and I usually just do that only so that I don't have to really deal with that part of the copyright system. So I'm trying to figure out a new way that I can somewhat edit that. I know a lot of people do zoom ins. I might just hop on that bandwagon. The bandwagon, oh, I can't even talk. I might just jump on that bandwagon and just kind of do that where like people like zoom in on the videos, like they zoom in and out. I might just do that because I don't know. I feel like the video quality just it goes down whenever I have like the words. I don't like having the words. I'm sure some of you don't like having the words. I still hope you enjoy the content though, but I know that I really don't like having words on the videos. Like I want you guys to see what I'm seeing too. So yeah, there's lots of stuff with that. Um, okay, let me see, because I did write a whole bunch of things here. I knew I was gonna address a lot of stuff. Um, yeah, I mean, here we go. Okay. Um, overall too, summer has been going great so far, for the most part. I wanted to ask you guys how your summer's going. And I mean, I've been, it's been really busy. I'm gonna be completely honest. I know a lot of people don't like summer, but for me, maybe it's just because I was born during the summertime. I just love the summertime. And no matter how hot it is, and especially in Los Angeles, it gets hot over here. Um, I mean, I'm sure in the next couple of weeks, we're gonna have another good heat wave coming our way. But I love summer. Like I love the summer, just like the vibe that it gives off. You get to have a lot more fun and you get to do a lot more things on your free time. And I don't know, I just really like it. I've already done so much. I feel like for me personally though, like June, I know like technically June, like summer starts right at the end of June, but I consider my summer to be like beginning of June all the way to like my birthday. Like once my birthday happens, like that it's done, like that's it. Like no more. So but yeah, there's that. I mean, there's already quite a couple of things I know. I honestly did not expect the summer to snap as hard as it's have, to be completely honest, and my friends can attest to that because most of my friends have been with me on like the stuff that's happened this summer so far, and there's only really more to come, and I'll talk about that later. Uh, but the summer has already been a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's already um It's already started, yeah. I'm already kind of over summer too a little bit, but I'm just like, you know what? I'm still having fun. It'll be fine. Um, let's see. Um, also, I've been watching a lot of TV lately. I don't know if anyone else has, but I know a lot of people have been talking about The Idol, the one with The Weeknd and Lily Rose Depp. I watched the entire series. Let's just say I was so disappointed with it. I feel like even the potential with it, okay, like Sam Levinson, right? He's the same one that does Euphoria. You would think like, okay, you know what? It's gonna be unhinged, just like Euphoria is, but maybe, like it'll be somewhat in the same way, or maybe more of like in an interesting way, especially because it's talking about the industry. And they had quite a couple of really famous artists on the show as characters. So I'm like, okay, like maybe, we could see like what's gonna happen here. And I gave the entire show a chance. I literally I pain watched it all the way from episode 1 to 5. And I just it was so disappointing. Uh, I mean, I there were certain okay, this is my gripe with the show, right? Like Euphoria, right? They actually have really interesting storylines, and for some reason those storylines like they actually make you care about the characters, of course, right? Especially the actors on the show. Zendaya is probably the best actress on that show by far. Of course, all of the other actors and actresses are really really good, but Zendaya really plays her part so well to make you actually care about that character of hers, especially since she's the main part of the show. But I feel like with The Idol, it was kind of more rushed. And sometimes, like, the different storylines didn't make sense. I mean, apparently it was supposed to be 6 episodes, even from what I found out. And I guess they cut it down to just 5. So I'm wondering what was in that one extra episode that they didn't want all of us to see. And then you could tell too, like, that they jumped like and like all like you could tell that the episode was cut because there were like certain plot lines you're like, wait, like when did this happen, or like when did they find this out, it didn't make any sense. Like that's what it was, it just didn't make sense at times. Like even, I mean, I will say this, the actors in The Idol were actually really good. I think Lily Rose Depp was pretty good in her acting with what she was given. I mean, there's really only so much you could do with the crappy script. I mean, some of the jokes and quips in that, whew, I had to watch that. I was like, oh, they mentioned Epstein. There was one joke in there. Um, oh, of course, the infamous mental illness is sexy. That, yeah. And then, of course, those other scenes, a bunch of other scenes actually, too many to count. Um, it was a lot watching that. I mean, yeah, like I said, the actresses and even some of the actors were really good too. Lily Rose Depp was actually really good. I know Jenny from Blackpink was in that show. I think with what she was given, she actually did pretty well. Apparently, apparently, because there was supposed to be the other version with, that female perspective that everyone's been talking about. Apparently, she was supposed to have a more prominent role on the show. And then once The Weeknd and Sam Levinson, the creator of Euphoria, took over, it was like, okay, like, you go sit in the back over there. They literally have someone really famous on the show. You would think they would want to, like, push them in there a little bit more to have, the fans watch her, but there was even one episode, I forgot what episode it was. It had to be either 3 or 4, something like that, where she was only featured. I remember this very specifically because it was very like, here she is, and then like, there she goes. It was like it was just one scene where spoiler alert, I don't know if any of you are going to watch the show, but I'm going to talk about it maybe just a tiny bit, maybe even spoil the ending a little bit right now. Um, there was one tiny part of the show where she fills in for Jocelyn. So that's Lily Rose Depp's character. She fills in for Jocelyn because basically she's trying to like she wasn't the one trying to take over her spot, but her one of her managers was like, "Oh yeah, like let's sign you into the label and let's have you do the song instead." And so it's only just one quick moment where she's filling in for Jocelyn in the same music video that she was doing. So I don't know. I don't know why they didn't utilize her a lot more. Um, like I said, apparently she was supposed to have a more prominent role on the show. Like that aspect, like with her and Jocelyn, technically Jenny's character was called Diane. A lot of people called her Jenny though. I feel like with the Jocelyn and Diane storyline, like that would have been such a good like storyline to kind of explore into. Cause like that would have been like the little stuff that they were giving us here and there. I'm like, oh, like why don't you expand more on that? Like that would make the show a lot more interesting. But instead, what happened is that basically the weekend just took over the entire thing. Apparently, most of the show was filmed at this house, so that already is just you know. And then we, of course, we had all of the unnecessary sexual stuff going on. I don't know if I don't know if it's just like a euphoria thing. Honestly, it might just be. But like why are there so many scenes like that? Like we do not need to see it. Now I'm not saying I'm not saying like completely ban it, but like we don't need to like have it we don't have to have it, shoved into our faces like every single episode. You could just, tone it down a bit. And so there's that. And then of course, just the totally unhinged storylines going on. Like oh man, you could tell that this was a Sam Levinson project just because of the pure unhinged stuff that was going on this show. Um, and I just look at the comments right now. I think it did get canceled, although I'm not entirely sure. I've seen some people say no and some people say yes. So I'm not too completely sure about about the status of the show, but judging from the episode being cut, I think it's safe to say it probably is canceled. Huh, I mean maybe it's for the better. I mean just the unhinged storylines going on in this show. Sometimes it's a little hard to keep up. I mean, oh, what was I mean, oh, to start off, to start off, um Tedros and the Weeknd's character was named Tedros with with the that stupid rat tail going on in the back. Um that was cringe already, just his hairstyle alone. Um that scene where they go into the Valentino store, a very high prestige store, where they serve you champagne and you get your own personal stylist and everything. When Tedros goes up to the character, I'm like literally like ugh, no, just like even just thinking about it, I'm just like, I think it was, oh yeah, he was he was yelling um at the stylist because he was looking at Jocelyn all wrong, apparently. And it just like the dialogue that was said, it was just so like it was so cringy, like but so funny, like oh man. And then just even the more like serious storylines, with, just all of the like it talks about abuse and they kind of went, I could see like they kind of drew inspiration from different stuff because there was a lot of stuff talked about with like parental abuse. And so I my mind immediately went to the Jeanette McCurdy situation, and that's kind of what they alluded to having, especially since Jocelyn says that her mother was abusive towards her like her entire career. Basically, this character was like a child star, and the mother was abusive with the entire time. And then the mother died of cancer, and she's trying to figure out like what her new sound is. That's basically the entire premise of the entire show. And then Tedros like comes along and tries to like sway her over to the dark side. I mean, that's pretty much kind of what it was. The new direction of the show was going for. Apparently it was supposed to only start off with Jocelyn kind of being in the spotlight and explaining how she's so big and all that, and talking about different rivals. It was supposed to be something like that. But then, like I said, the weekend took over, so there was that. And yeah, I kind of tanked the show. That's probably why I got canceled. Or if it is canceled, it's gonna probably get canceled. I honestly would not see the point of them doing another season, to be honest. Um, if they did, maybe they could. I mean, I don't really know how you can revive the ending of that though. Uh, I mean, I guess I'll talk about it. I'm disappointed with the ending too. I don't know. I'm just thinking, like, even I'm thinking maybe in the future I can react to stuff like this, where it's like more like music industry or just like music related kind of shows. But I was so terribly disappointed with that ending. I mean, wow. Like, talk about like everyone talks about, like Game of Thrones being terrible, Lost being terrible. I mean, I think this one takes the cake, to be honest. Oh, I mean, the entire the entire time, I mean, I guess it was kind of there. The clues were kind of already there throughout the season. Just no one realized it until the end, though. Um, Basically, the entire ending was like, ha, joke's on you, Tedros. She actually lied about pretty much everything. And she's the master manipulator, and she's actually the villain instead of you. Even though his character was technically a pimp and was pimping out girls so that they could get record deals and he could make money off of them. What kind of what kind of like she first off, the fact that they even went in that direction of like the women lied and was actually the master manipulator the entire time. Come on. I mean, if it was done in a little bit more of an interesting way, I could be like, okay, maybe I can see them, kind of getting away with that. But I'm just like, it makes no sense. Especially because, like, even there's a scene towards the end with Tedros, and, talks about the infamous, hairbrush. And he's like, oh, didn't your mom used to, like, beat you with this? And she kind of makes, like, a face like, oh, like, I was lying about it the entire time. But then a couple of episodes before that, her friends are saying like, "Oh yeah, her mom used to be like was totally abusive to her." So I'm like, which is it? Like, was it actually true? And is she lying? Or like, I don't know. I don't know what went wrong there. I honestly don't know. Uh, but yeah, that show was pretty disappointing. I'm gonna be completely honest. Euphoria, on the other hand, um, I actually do like that show, although a lot more unhinged stuff goes on. A lot more unhinged stuff goes down on that show. I think, though, the only difference is that there's more experienced actors, and I feel like they told the storylines a lot better on Euphoria than they did on The Idol. Like, a lot of people, like, even found themselves wondering, like, oh, like, why should I care about what happens when you don't make me invested into the characters and, like, you know make us actually connect to them? Because at some point, even I was like, I don't like any of the main characters. Like, there was at one point where I'm like, I don't like Jocelyn's character either. I don't like Tedros. And like, a lot of the people, it's just like, they didn't make us care enough. Now with Euphoria, I think it was just because the actresses and the actors, they play their parts so well, to where you're like, oh, you're actually rooting for them to do well. Now of course there's Nate Jacobs on that show, so he's an evil piece of crap. But everybody else, even, I mean, even somewhat Cassie, I guess, even though now she's become a villain on that show too, you can be like, like, come on, like, pull yourself out of it, like, get yourself together. But especially with Zendaya's character, even though that character messes up so many different times, you just can't help but be like, come on, like, you need to get better with your addiction. Like, come on, like, you can do it. They just make you care about the characters, which is supposed to be what a TV show does, especially a good one. So I don't know where the disconnect went wrong with that, but yeah, that was Sam Levinson's first failed show. Probably won't be the last either, depending on how Euphoria goes next season. And I even heard too that Euphoria season 3 might get canceled. Let's not do that. I need to see entirely where those storylines go because we're not just gonna gloss over the fact that Rue owes a couple $1,000s to a drug dealer, like a big drug pin now, and just not see how that ends up, or what's gonna happen with Cassie and Nate now, or I can't let it end like that. We at least just put out the last season, season 3, and just finish up all the unhinged storylines going on. I'm sure there'll be an unhinged ending to that because again, Sam Levinson. But what else can you do about it? Anyways, I've talked about this show for way too long. Oh, wow, I've already been on here for 26 minutes. Wow. Okay, I hope I'm entertaining right now. I know I've been rambling. This is entirely what happens when I'm filming videos too. There's some things that I have to edit out because I just get into like a tangent about different stuff and I'm just going and going until I have to just get every single thought out. Uh so I hope I'm not boring all of you. Um so yeah, that was I've been watching stuff like that. Um, I haven't really been watching any other TV shows for the most part. I watch a lot of like comfort TV shows like Degrassi and Gossip Girl. I love those shows. I mean, those are like my comfort shows. I always watch them during the summertime too, especially when I have nothing else to watch. So it's great because you still get invested in the storylines over time. And even with age too, you just do. So yeah. Okay. Let me see. I'm gonna move on now. Like I said, I have my schedule on my phone. So yeah. Because like I said, because now I'm rambling. Okay. What else am I gonna talk about? Oh, um, let's see. I guess I'll talk a little bit about VidCon really quick. Only because it was so much fun and I'm still not over that. Um, I know I didn't really talk about it too much on here. I mean, yeah, I guess I'll talk about a little bit my experience there. Basically, I bought my tickets. So the way that VidCon works, essentially, because I know a lot of people ask me about that, it's basically a convention where they have a whole bunch of YouTubers show up. They do a whole bunch of panels, and most of them do meet and greets. Not all of them, but just a good chunk of them they'll do meet and greets, and it's all in Anaheim, the Anaheim Convention Center, and we're right across the street from Disneyland, so it's in that area. So I remember because I was walking from my hotel to the convention center, and it didn't take very long with the walk. I think it was only maybe like about 10 minutes or so. And I remember because my hotel was right near the back of California Adventure because I could see the Incredicoaster like right there, like big, like right there. So it was fun getting that view walking to the convention center every morning. But yeah, that experience was so much fun. I actually, so basically, I woke up that Thursday. So technically they say that VidCon runs from Wednesday to Saturday to Saturday, yeah. And what they don't say though is that Wednesday is technically considered just like a registration day. They don't have any part of the expo hall or the convention center open. It's basically just like an extra day to go pick up your pass so you don't have to wait in that terribly long line in the morning. Now, I have to work. I have a full-time job, so I can't really take almost a week off of work like that. Only if it was like super far planned in advance, I could. But I'm like, no, I just won't go Wednesday. Um, I would have to see, but like, yeah, but basically, I remember I got up, it was like 5 in the morning. I got up to go to VidCon. I mean, I live in LA, so to the drive from Los Angeles to Orange County it's usually about, if there's no traffic, about an hour. And with traffic, if it's like super terrible, it'll be around like 2.5 to 3 hours. Now, luckily, I went at a time where it only took me an hour and a half. So I feel like it wasn't terrible. 'Cause it could have been a lot worse, to be honest. And even the drive to, it went by pretty fast. I think yeah, I think once I got on to like more near once I got out of LA, I think that's when it got a lot better actually concerning the traffic. I just know I was super tired. I'm not a morning person, so just even getting up at that time was super difficult. So there was that. And I remember I found parking straight away because that was a good thing actually. I think the convention center did a really good job on like telling you where you were supposed to go. Because that place is humongous and there's so many different places in just in that convention center alone that you can go to. So luckily for everyone else, they had signs on where you could go. Now, day one, I wasn't at my hotel yet, so I had to go find parking in the parking structure. I didn't have to pay very much. I think I only paid 20 bucks, and that's actually pretty cheap considering um any kind of event, to be honest. There's some shows now and concerts, especially the big stadium shows that I've gone to very recently, where parking is like it's actually outrageous. Uh Parking's usually about 50 to 60 bucks at big stadiums over here in LA, so yeah. 20 bucks was actually not much at all. So, um, yeah, I remember checking in. Um, I was just honestly scared that it was going to be LineCon the entire time. Luckily, for the most part, the way that I scheduled all that out, it was pretty okay. Uh, I mean, I think it only took me maybe like 40 to 45 minutes just about to get my wristband and badge, because they really made you have like a lot of stuff on you to make sure that you could go in that area in the first place. Like there was security everywhere and you literally had to like flash them your badge and your wristband to even get into the property in the first place. So I remember I was going through security. We had to just that's what the line was. It was security waiting for that. Once you got into one of the halls though, where they give you the wristbands and the badges, it was fine. I got myself a creator pass. The creator passes you actually have to buy. So there's that. I didn't pay too much for it, maybe just under $200 I paid, which is not terrible. But especially for the perks that you got. I remember I had to go past security and back check. Then I had to go downstairs to get my all my credential stuff. There was no line. I literally walked right in. The guy, scanned my QR code. He gave me my badge and wristband. He's like, "Here you go. Have a nice day." And I was like, "Oh, great." At that point, it's already 8 a.m. and I've been up for 3 hours. And to be honest, I was feeling okay. I'd actually gotten like a pretty good amount of sleep the night before. So I was like, okay, like maybe I can somewhat be okay. So the way that my VidCon schedule just coincidentally happened to work out is that most of the people that I met were on that day. So Thursday, like basically also too with VidCon, you can get meet and greets, like you can win them. I think this year the max amount was four for everybody. I know there have been some years where they've done, I think the max was six a couple of years ago, but they reduced it down to four this year, which honestly I was like, that's the perfect number. Like I don't need to, meet any more super big creators unless it's, just by chance. Um, I think let me see. It was 10 a.m. Yeah, and they had the blocks. Like everyone, people had their meet and greets around the same time, but they had like different queues where you could set up and like get in line. So that was pretty cool too. But just getting into that expo hall where the meet and greet hall was, that was just it wasn't terrible because I'd gone in like the very first meet and greet selection time because I had to go for Safia Nagard. But but then I had to keep going back. Like they wouldn't let you stay. Like you had to always just keep checking in and checking in. So I had to go back a total of 3 times throughout the entire day just on Thursday alone. And so safe to say, like it was pretty hectic. Of course, the one day where I had to get up like super early, but it was so much fun. A lot of the people, a lot of the big creators that I met were actually really, really nice. I think Thursday, yeah, Safia and Tyler, and then Smosh, all of Smosh actually, except for Anthony. Um, and it was so funny too, because coincidentally, it was when they announced that they had rebought Smosh and they were coming back together again. So that was just really funny. But Anthony wasn't there at that meet and greet, because the news was so recent. He was like, "Oh, like I can't join." Um, but Smosh was great. Smosh was probably the best meet and greet I had, to be honest. I think I also had the Morel twins. They were really, really nice too. But Smosh was probably the best interaction I had, only because I think I was so intimidated because they're, of course, like, I'm gonna be completely honest. I barely had any idea who most of the creators were at VidCon this year. I know last year it was very TikTok based, so they had more TikTok creators there. But this year, YouTube took over again as like the biggest sponsor. So of course they had YouTube stuff going on everywhere. TikTok was there too, but YouTube, what you could tell, was like the biggest sponsor there. And so of course they had more YouTubers again this year. And so with Smosh, I don't know some of them. Like, of course, if you guys were ever on YouTube in the very early days, like they were one of the very first few big channels ever on this platform. So that already was like huge in and of itself, like meeting them. And so I go up to them and I'm like, oh my goodness, there are so many of you. And they all start laughing. And they're like, oh, like, don't be scared. Like, it's fine. Like, you'll be okay. And I'm just like, oh my, like, there's so many of you. So many of, like, I didn't realize exactly how big Smosh was until I saw them all come out one by one. And I'm like, wow, okay. And so they're all really nice with me. With every single creator, actually, I even asked, like, my thing with them was like, oh, like, what advice can you give me on being on YouTube? And they were really, really nice. Like, all of them. I think they all gave me great advice. And then we took a couple of pictures too. And we took like the silliest pictures. I think, like, honestly, like every time I look at the Smosh pictures, especially, I laugh so hard because they're just so funny. Because Ian is like, oh, like, let's do one with a very serious face. And so I remember, like, I had to hold it in so I wouldn't start laughing. And I was just like this. Like, I don't know how, like, they all did it. And then we all took their, like, oh, we'll take some pictures too, like, for your thumbnail. So if you ever see that VidCon, like, YouTube short or reel or TikTok, whatever it is, that's what the thumbnail is the Smosh one. Fun fact, that's entirely how that came about. So so yeah, they were really fun to meet. I went to their panel too on Saturday evening. Their panel was super funny too. Basically their panel was like a try not to laugh skit where basically they were on like one of the bigger stages at VidCon, and it was just a bunch of like comedy skits and making sure that the other members didn't laugh about the jokes that were made. Some of the skits were so hilarious. I'm like, oh my, like these people are so funny. I can only hope I could ever be just as half funny as that cast can be, because they're hilarious. I was literally just, I went to VidCon by myself. And I was laughing the entire time. They were so funny. And I mean, yeah, let's see. So then, yeah, Wednesday I was exhausted. By the time I got to already 3:30, I was already like just tired. I met the Morel twins and they were really, really nice. I'm actually, fun fact, if you go to their VidCon vlog, you might see me in there. I'm right in the very beginning. I only discovered that last night actually, because I was like, like, you know, of course, because it's VidCon and there's YouTubers there, everyone's filming at all times with a camera, right? So I'm like, okay, like there has to be people, filming stuff and already putting it out, right? And I remember very specifically when I was in that line, their dad came up to all of us and he's like, "Hey, do you guys want to be in their YouTube video?" And I'm like, "Okay, sure. Like, what do I have to do?" And so and so I'm right there in the introduction, the very beginning, like maybe the third person in, and I'm saying it goes by really fast. But yeah, that was their dad filming me saying that because it was like kind of like a stop kind of thing, like, hey, you're watching the Morel twins, but like just like with a whole bunch of people in the VidCon line. So that was great. I didn't know that they had posted it already like 4 or 5 days ago. So so yeah, I'm in that video. I only just discovered that last night and I was freaking out because that video already alone has 100,000 views. So yeah. So at that point, I met them and then I remember very specifically. I remember going to get my acai bowl because I also had to remember too that I had to eat. And that's a very real thing with people sometimes, especially when you're doing so much. You're just like, oh yeah, like I need to eat something. Like I'm hungry. So I went, got a really good acai bowl, which was so good. I actually like got to eat it during one of the panels that I went to that I'm about to talk about right now. Because it's probably one of the best experiences I had at VidCon the entire time. And but yeah, basically I went to a panel. It was moderated by a YouTuber that I actually watch. Her name is Ashley Ippolito. If you don't know her, she basically does kind of the same stuff that I do, except it's reaction based, but she'll do like album review like reactions, and she'll do like movie and sometimes TV show reactions. So she's kind of like, we're somewhat in the same boats technically a little bit, and I actually really like watching her videos a lot. And so she was moderating that panel, and I remember there wasn't too many people there because by the time that panel was going on, I think it was towards like the end of the day. So I remember very specifically, I'm like, okay, like after this panel, like I'm gonna go check into my hotel, get some food, and just, relax and go to bed. And then I think the panel was about sharing too much. So like how much do you think is like TMI? I remember that. Now I remember. And so it was her and a couple of other YouTubers and creators that I hadn't really heard of. But then I actually ended up really liking them from that panel alone. So I guess you can honestly use VidCon kind of as, a segue to hear about other different creators, because most of them I had no idea who they were. Of course, they had a Dream there. They had a whole bunch of like really famous YouTubers that I don't really care to watch, but a lot of other people cared to watch. So there's that. Dream probably by far was the biggest creator there. He didn't even do a meet and greet, but his presence was known all throughout the event. So he was there. And apparently he was there at times too, but I just personally didn't see him. Um, but I remember after that panel, huh, okay, so this is where it's just awesome. So I go to the panel, I end up finishing the panel, and now some of the creators they stayed to take like different selfies and like stuff with fans and like talk to fans. So I'm like, oh my god, like let me go up to her. Like, she's talking to people, like she seems like she's up for having a conversation. Cause you know how like sometimes with bigger creators. Now she's also like a mid-sized creator too. She's almost at a million, but she's not quite there yet, which I don't know what the deal is with that. But I remember I'm like, oh yeah, like she seems like she's up for talking right now. Like let me see if she'll be up for it, because she's talking to other people. So sure enough, I'm like, okay, let me do it. So I just go up to her and I start talking to her, and she was super super nice. Um, It was so great because I'm like, I get to like, that was like the first time I really said it. I'm like, oh my goodness, like I actually get to interact with people who get to do the same thing as me. Like that, like blew my mind. So I was talking to her, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna head to her meet and greet tomorrow because I got the meet and greet for her session too the next day. Like she didn't do her meet and greet until Friday. And she's like, oh yeah, like I'm so excited for it. You know, I have gifts that I'm gonna be giving out to you guys. I'm like, oh my god, like wow, like this is so cool. And then I'm like, oh yeah, like yeah, I'm like, oh, I have like a YouTube channel. I kind of do like the same things that you do. Like I like you're probably like one of the people that I love like watching your channel and like looking at your videos. And she's like, oh, like thank you so much. Like she was really nice. And then she's like, oh, like let me watch your videos. Like I'll watch your videos, like send me the link. Now I'm not sure if she has, because I'm sure she's of course very busy. But she's like, yeah, like send me the link, like I'll watch it when I get back to like my room. And she follows my Instagram page. She actually follows it. If you guys look on there, she follows it. So there's that. So that probably by far. So she's probably right now the most famous person that follows me on there. That's actually like really wild. So that already, like I was so excited. Like it was like a feeling of like being really excited but also incredibly tired because at that point I was so worn out to where I'm just like, okay, like I gotta go. Like the convention, they closed at 6. I mean, they had parties and stuff, but I'm like, I don't really want to go, especially because I've been up since 5 in the morning. I really don't feel like it today. Like I'm not up for it. So I left, I think around 6, and then got some amazing ramen because, of course, Orange County has amazing ramen there. And I would know because I lived in that area for 2 years, going to university over there. So, of course, I had to go pick up some amazing ramen from a very like small hole in the wall place. It was incredibly good and it was only $8. It was probably the best food I had there, to be honest. So I got ramen, went to my hotel room, checked in, ate over there, and went immediately to bed after that. Next day I get up. Friday was a lot more relaxed. I got to do a lot more of the booths. They also, like for VidCon and stuff, they have a lot of like exhibitions and stuff like that, and just like different booths that you could check out depending on who's sponsoring the event and who's doing what. Um, I know that YouTube, of course, had probably one of the biggest boosts there. Uh, it was always an hour long wait for that. I'm like, you know what? I'll save that for Saturday because I did. I saved it for Saturday. But that YouTube booth was always incredibly busy. Um, they had a Paramount Plus lodge where they kind of themed it to like being like a cabin where they were advertising all of their different shows coming up. So you got to take different pictures and they gave you so much free stuff. The amount of free stuff that you get at VidCon alone. I remember coming home and I remember having a full tote bag just full of stuff. And like at the end of the convention, I was like, honestly, like, what did I even get? Because everyone's just giving you free stuff left and right when you go in their booth. There is literally, I mean, even the Paramount Plus, like the lodge over there, they gave you an iCarly fanny pack. They gave you like a Zoe 102 keyring because I didn't even know that was happening still. Like, I thought apparently because, Jamie Lynn being canceled and all that, I didn't even think that was still happening, but apparently it is. And they had SpongeBob, so I actually have pictures of me working at the Krusty Krab. Like, that's gonna be an iconic, like, Polaroid already. Um, And like a lot of people were giving out free ring lights. I got, I think, at least 2 pairs of ring lights. Uh, of course, because everyone's filming there. I got to play with cats. That was really fun. Um, I think it was like one of the animal rights like protection groups. They had a whole bunch of like little cats. They were like in a box and you got to like play with them, and they were really cool because the cats that like I got their attention and they were like really going for it, so that was great. Um, I think it was, yeah, I know Zoe 102 is actually happening. I know. They literally had a humongous signed for it actually, and they had like a little photo op where you got to take a picture from like I don't know if it's something happening in the movie or whatnot. Apparently, a whole bunch of the characters are gonna get married to each other because they had a whole bunch of the like all the upcoming shows and TV shows like in movies and stuff that are happening on the outside of the booth, and so like the way that the poster is like apparently Zoe and Chase are gonna get married, and I don't know about everyone else because they had like Quinn and like Logan. I think they even had Michael too, but I know a lot of the characters from the original show are not coming back, or at least they're not gonna be in that movie. So I don't know if I'm gonna watch it or not. To be completely honest, like I said, I had no idea that was even happening. So, but yeah. Oh, and then there was also these booths, some of these booths, I swear, they had the Squishmallow pit by far though was probably the most disappointing experience at VidCon though I will say. It was incredibly disappointing actually. Um, so at VidCon, apparently the Squishmallow pit is really popular over there. Anytime a Squishmallow booth is there at VidCon, apparently it's super popular. Because I heard last year, apparently what they did was you kind of got to be like a human claw in like a claw machine, and so you basically like they hooked you up and they kind of like move you around and you get to like drop down and like pick up a free squishmallow and take it home with you. And so I heard that was like super popular. So apparently this year they did a squishmallow pit. So you kind of like you basically jump into the pit and then you get to like fish for like whatever squishmallow that you want in there. But the way that they set it up was so disorganized. I remember very specifically because I'm like, of course I'm by myself. I want to see like how much I can really do around here. And so like I asked the workers, I'm like, "Oh, like are you guys going to be open when the convention opens?" They're like, "Yeah, like just make sure you line up right when the convention starts so that you'll have somewhat of a chance." So I'm like, "Oh, okay, like cool." Friday I messed up a little bit. I kind of slept in a little bit late. So I'm like, okay, like I'll just do it Saturdays, right? And I asked them the same question again on Friday. I'm like, oh, like if I just get here like right on time, like do you think I'll be able to do it? They're like, yeah, just get here right on time, and you'll probably have a good chance. So I'm like, okay, perfect. We get to Saturday, and they had people queuing up outside around the entire block from actually probably multiple blocks to be honest, because I heard it from security. People are lined up for multiple blocks around that entire convention center just to get into that Squishmallow pit since almost 6 in the morning. And I was like, yeah, I definitely did not come to VidCon just to only jump into a Squishmallow pit and torture myself like this, getting up at 6 in the morning. I'm like, there's no way. So I ended up not doing that. And apparently, a lot of other people ended up not doing it either. They literally gave out consolation prizes. They were like, yeah, just come back and you'll maybe you'll get a chance to get like a smaller squishmallow. I don't know. I think they just were not prepared. I don't think they were prepared. It wasn't organized. Um, I mean, yeah, it was a really big disappointment, honestly. I will say. Um, but I will say, other than that, the rest of the booths are pretty okay. There was also another big vending machine kind of booth where you get to see what you get. Um, that one I actually really did like. That one I lined up for right when the convention started. I think I was maybe like the seventh or eighth person in that line because that line would get pretty full too. Like that was another like hour and a half, maybe even 2 hour long wait. So I'm like, yeah, I don't wait that long if I don't have to. So I got right in line because I asked those people too in that booth. I'm like, do you think if I get here like right when you open, like I should be able to? They're like, yeah, like I get here first thing, or else you're not gonna be able to do it. So I'm like, okay, cool. Followed his advice, and sure enough, the same guy who was there who told me about it, he's like, yeah, like good that you came on time. Because by the time it was on, like, I think the convention started at 9. By the time it already got to like 9:30, it was pretty long out there. So I'm like, yeah, okay, I got in good. But that one was fun. I ended up getting this. Actually, here, I'll show you because holy crap, I'm right next to it. So I ended up getting this from it. It's so cute. I actually really like it. It has like a little hoodie. And yeah, I got this. And so I got this and three tokens. And basically, they had these smaller vending machines on top of the big one, or like right near the big one, where you can only access those if you got the tokens for it. And sure enough, I got the tokens. So I'm like, okay, like let me see what I can get. And I'm like, I have terrible luck with claw machines. So I'm like, I know for sure, like, I'm probably not gonna get anything, like, I don't think I really am. So I try. And sure enough, with the most insane amount of luck I've probably ever had at any single time, I end up getting this from the vending machine, from the small one. And I'm like, oh my goodness, it's so cute. Like, oh, especially it's like golden. Yes. I mean, so now I have these two to commemorate my VidCon experience with. And I tried with the other two vending machines, but it didn't end up working out. I actually remember I almost did get another one. I was so close because it had literally hooked on, but then it dropped. So I'm like, ah. But it was fine. It was fine. Even just getting that gold one was pretty fantastic because I've never had a good luck like that in a claw machine ever in my life. So that was awesome. Um, yeah, but I got to do a lot more exhibition and like booth stuff. They had a Mario Kart there. They had a big Nintendo. Nintendo was very big there too this year. You got to play Mario Kart with people, and then they give you free sunglasses. So I think I have that somewhere in the back over there. I need to use them. Um, yeah, they had Mario Kart there. They had photo opportunities with Mario and Luigi there. And that booth was pretty fun. I actually did meet a friend too who works with that company, actually in the VidCon line, for one of the other booths happening over there. So that was pretty fun. Um, Let me see what else. So they had that. Another big one that they had. Oh, so so let me see if I can grab it. I'm just grabbing stuff from my shelf here. I like literally have an entire like commemorative VidCon memory shelf over here. I ended up getting this too. This so this thing, right? So this is kind of like a plushy toy. I don't know if this is like supposed to be like a therapeutic toy or something like that. Um, I ended up winning this in like a little thing. I forgot exactly what this is called, but basically, you kind of have to like rip all of the stuffing off of it so that you can actually get to this part of the teddy bear. And so I somehow won one of the free like plushies. So I got this for free, like a full-size product for free. Um, and then I remember specifically near that area, there was like all of like the little stuff, like all the fluffy stuff, like see it's already getting all over the counter here. I remember all of the fluffy stuff was all over the floor at VidCon, just in that specific section alone. And I was like, oh my god, like it was everywhere. Everywhere. I remember that very specifically because people were literally getting this fluffy like stuffiness from it and like throwing it in the air at some point. And I was like, I don't want that on me. I remember I had to wipe it off my shoes too. Um, so I got that. Also, this little thing, right? I won this for free. This was actually, I think, right near the end of Friday. I think it was right near the end of Friday. And it's called a Bitsy. And so they had a big booth like this too. And it was quite busy there at that booth too. Um, I remember I went in right near closing time. So I only had to wait 10 minutes because that booth already too was like, it was way too long of a wait. So of course I just had to wait right before right before the convention closed. So sure enough, I got in within like 10 minutes and I'm like, oh, like, what is this booth? And they told me it's basically, okay, I don't know if any of you grew up in the 90s, or I'm sure most of you who are in here are probably were born by the 90s or in the 90s. But do you guys remember the Tamagotchis, right? So basically, it's kind of like a virtual pet in that sense, but I'll just show you. I don't know if you could see it or not. And my camera lags behind too, so like I'm only seeing this. Let me see. Let me see if you can see it. Okay, so basically, it's a virtual pet that you can actually pet and touch, and you could take care of them. It's like a little LED light. I think you like, yeah, you swipe it. Let me see. I have to like literally see if you guys can see it on camera or not. Okay, let me see. I'm trying to get the animal that could show up the best. Let me see if I can see. Here, we'll do the owl. Let's see. It's like literally a touch screen. So it's kind of like a touch screen a little bit, like because you have like a little bar here. But I'm gonna see if it'll show up on camera or not. But it's basically like a virtual pet that you could touch, and it's like LED like film and light. And so I won this actually because um the way that it works. Oh yeah, so you can't see it because I just saw the video. Okay, perfect. Because I was like, my stream lags behind a little bit, so I'm just making sure. You guys see it in real time, but I see it like kind of lagging behind a couple of seconds. Okay, perfect. Okay, but that I ended up winning a full size product of that because the way that it worked is that they basically could just kind of had you play with like they had you play with like the trial versions of this. Yeah, like a Tamagotchi basically, but like a more just like a bigger version of it, and you can actually like touch it and stuff and play with it. But I remember they had like these little trial versions and like videos and stuff of how you use it. And so basically they had you play like this little game where they're like, oh, like the rarest animal that you can get is a unicorn, and the unicorn game, I guess you can you have to break a piñata and you see what comes out of it. So basically, when you break the piñata open, it can either be a common animal, a rare animal, or a legendary animal. And so the way that they had it was that like if you got a common one, you basically just get like little like freebie stuff, just like tiny ones. If you get a rare, you get the trial like a free version of this, like a free this was literally free. I didn't pay for this. I won this, and so if you get a rare, you get this. You get the actual product. And apparently, with the legendary, you would win an iPad. Now, apparently, from the workers, I'd only heard at that point from Friday night that only 2 people had won the legendary and about 80 people had won a rare. And so I'd become 81 because I won the rare. So I walked out with the full size version of that. And yeah, I mean, there was a lot. I remember even what else did I do? I made a whole bunch of TikToks. Friday was honestly crazy, not in terms of meeting people, but more of just like what was going on with everything, especially because Friday and Saturday were really hectic with the amount of people that were there. Um, Saturday, of course, was probably the worst, but Friday, the crowd was a tiny bit better. And let me see, even the creator. Oh, I didn't talk about this entire time. I haven't talked about like the creator stuff that they had available. Basically, if you buy a creator pass, you get a lot more different things. So the way that they had it planned out was that they had the first levels for basically anybody to go on. So anyone could go inside the expo hall and walk around and do whatever, right? And then you had your creator tier. So you could go up an extra level. So they had 3 levels. They had the regular level, the creator level, and then they had like an industry level where, it's all like business people and, stuff like that. And so I had to go up, I went up to the second floor just to see like what's going on there. There's so much. The, on that creator floor, there's literally so much that goes on. I mean, I honestly didn't realize entirely like how like crazy it is up there until I went up there. I would go up there every now and then to just go relax and escape from the hectic stuff that was going on downstairs. They had 2 lounges. Okay, the two lounges, right? They had the MPB Creator Lounge, which was more towards the end of that side of the floor. I think I only went into it one time because, to be completely honest, there wasn't really much to do in there. Basically, it was kind of the more relaxed lounge over there for creators. You could only get in there if you had a creator pass anyway, but there wasn't really too much to do. Of course, they were advertising their cameras and stuff like that, but I'm like, not really. Like, it's all just like seating area, and they a lot of the lounges they would give you free food, like free snacks and drinks and stuff. So that was fun at least. I didn't really have to pay for water that much. But then they had the TikTok Creator Lounge, and I personally found that lodge or that lounge to be a lot more fun and engaging, only because there was actually stuff to do in there. Um, I remember walking in there for the very first time. They had it all in neon. They kind of had it like a neon and kind of like frozen ice theme going on, like very blue and purple, kind of glow in the dark vibe. That's pretty much what it gave off. They had a lot of the really famous TikTok slogans all over the wall and stuff like that happening. I think it was yeah, it was a lot of the like the really famous ones that happened over this past year. And that lounge gave out a ton of free stuff too, a lot of like TikTok endorsed stuff. They actually had me make a video. Actually, yeah, I filmed a video in the TikTok Creator Lounge. That was fun too. The people there were really nice. Um, I remember, I think it was like the red flag filter. I think that was the one that I did with them. That one was pretty fun. I got to take some pictures at some of the photo ops in there. And then all at the same time, while all of this was going on, they had a little corner and they had people actually live streaming from VidCon, like in that lounge, and like showing off different products and stuff because they were advertising TikTok shopping a lot this year. So they had people on there. They had creators like probably like mid-size, or I don't know exactly what their audience or what their following was, but they had creators in there like testing products out and stuff. It was really really cool. Like a lot of stuff going on. And then of course, just in that creator level alone, I think that level was probably pretty unhinged, to be honest, because you would see famous people. Oh, I have a story. My friends know exactly what I'm about to talk about right now if they're watching the stream. They know exactly what story I'm about to tell you guys. So, someone I would never, ever, 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 ever expect to be at VidCon, right? At a VidCon in general. Um, so basically, right? You guys are gonna laugh so hard when you hear this entire story because it is so unhinged. Um, and of course, I had to be by myself for this experience, of course, right? So, I remember very specifically, I was walking. I think I had just left the TikTok lounge because I had gotten myself a free Liquid Death, and then I was gonna head over to a panel. I remember I had a plan. I was gonna head over to the panel, and then I was gonna go downstairs to meet Ashley again, like in her official meet and greet. And so, why do I see? Why do I see? Okay, if anyone watches Dance Moms, right? You guys know exactly where this is gonna go, right? So I don't know if any of you know about Dance Moms, but basically it's that show where a whole bunch of kids got famous. Maddie Ziegler, um, Chloe Lukasiak, a whole bunch of people. I watched that show from the very beginning, like very first episode, like when it literally premiered on Lifetime. Like I'm a reality TV show junkie, so like that was my thing. So come to find out, right? That apparently JoJo Siwa, right? She was also on the show, but she wasn't on the show until way later on anyway. So JoJo's mom apparently managed some kind of like small like kids singing group. I'm not entirely sure who they were because of course that's not my demographic. I don't know. I don't know who they are. But I'm sure the kids who were there at VidCon probably enjoy them a lot. Because I actually did see JoJo's mom walking around. at the expo hall, like just walking around with them. So I saw her. I didn't talk to her, but I saw her walking around with them. So tell me why the next day on Saturday, Abby Lee Miller is at VidCon. And I know I swear I knew it wasn't just me because there were TikToks the very next day saying that they also like met her and talked to her too. I had to do a double take because I was like, wait a second, I've seen her face before, and I look and I'm like, oh my god, that's Abby Lee Miller. Like, what is she doing on the creator floor? And so like she didn't seem like she was in the mood to talk, so I didn't really like press about it too much. But I was like, oh hi Abby, like I tell her that, and she goes hello, and she immediately zooms off into wherever the hell she goes after that. And it was so funny. Like ever since she got into that scooter, it was like 10 times funnier. Like, cause she literally like cause she was zooming through the creator floor. I kid you not. Like, I was like, oh hi Abby. Like she kept zooming and she's like, oh hello, and then kept zooming. I was laughing so hard. I had to like I remember telling my sisters about that because it was so funny. Like, I was laughing at that the entire time. Like, that was probably one of the most unhinged stuff that happened at VidCon that day, or just like the entire experience overall. Like, you never know who's gonna come through. Uh, yeah, exactly like a fever dream. Like, I literally had no idea why she was there, what she was there for. Um, no, oh, no. Apparently, she's still in the wheelchair. She's in that scooter still. Because when I saw her, she was still riding around in there. I know when other people met her, they said she was also still in the scooter. I don't think she's walking, but yeah, that was pretty crazy. That was a pretty crazy moment for me there. Apparently, I had found out too. I don't know entirely how true this is. Apparently, someone had said when I was waiting in one of the meet and greet lines that Logan Paul was there. I don't know how true that would be, because the guy was like, oh yeah, like he was walking around with a whole bunch of security guards. But I'm like, if he was actually there at VidCon, I would feel like a lot more people would be like rushing over to see where he was, and like the energy of the convention was still okay. So I'm like, I don't know. I didn't see any videos of him being over there, so I'm like, I don't know how true that is. Especially if he had security guards around him. How do you even know like if it's him or not? Plus, I wouldn't be interested to meet him anyway. But yeah, Saturday, but Friday was a lot more fun. I think Friday was probably the best day that I had there. I met Ashley too, Ashley Ippolito. Yeah, like I said, I went to her official meet and greet. She was super nice. She actually remembered me. And she was like, "Oh, like I haven't watched her videos yet, but I'm definitely gonna watch them tonight." So like I said, I don't know if she did or not. I mean, she's incredibly busy. I know, but like even just like the entire like just her acknowledging that I even have something, because people are always like, oh, like you have a YouTube channel, like that's nice, and they don't really say anything after that. Like, so the fact that like she was actually like interested in talking to me about that, like it really makes all the difference, especially as a smaller creator. So that was so much fun. And I mean, yeah, I mean, and then Saturday was, for me personally, I think I had mostly gotten everything done by Friday. So at that point, I was like, there's not really too much to do today. Um, I did end up. I remember very specifically Saturday morning, I ran straight to the YouTube booth because that booth was always full and it was always an hour-long wait. I ended up waiting, I think 45 minutes, but it actually went by really, really fast. Thank goodness, because I was like, oh, like why? Like why does it take so long? And then when I got in, I understood why it took so long. Because basically, the way that they had it is that um you kind of like go in, it's like kind of like a YouTube shopping thing. It was, of course, they were advertising YouTube itself, but they were really like focusing on the fact that you could do the YouTube shopping now. And so right before you go in, you get like a little voucher where basically you could see like what kind of merch you can get, and depending on like how much merch dollars you get is what merch you're eligible to get. And so I only got one, so I got to get like a really small prize. But when you go in there, there's a whole bunch of different experiences that you could do. Um, I know that they had at least four. I'm like, okay, like now I understand. Like I understand why it took like an hour or two to get in. So they had a bracelet making station, and then they had a like a makeup station where basically you kind of like spin a wheel and you see what kind of makeup look you land on, and depending on what that lands on, that's kind of how the makeup artist does your makeup. And I was like, oh, like that sounds like fun, but like I don't know if I would trust people doing my makeup. Like I don't know how sanitary that is, like especially since I had already done my makeup in my hotel room anyway. So I'm like, oh, like I don't know how I'd feel about that. And then they had the dream vending machine. So people were waiting in line to win free dream merch in a vending machine. So there was that. That was probably, of course, the busiest booth there. And then the one that I went into, it was kind of like a fashion sketch kind of thing. So basically they draw you, but kind of like in a way where like people draw like their designs, you know, like how fashion designers like they design their stuff in a very specific way. Like they draw their stuff very specifically. It's kind of like in that same design. So I did that. I have the picture in there. I haven't shared it yet. Maybe I will share it after the stream, but it actually looks really, really cool. I might get that framed to be honest and just have it in my room here somewhere. I think it'll be pretty cool. So yeah, that was pretty fun. I got a little YouTube pin as my prize, so that was pretty cool. I mean, and then what else? Saturday, Saturday specifically was used the most for networking. I mean, I think the last Thursday and Friday I had used more of like the fun days and like meeting people somewhat, but like there wasn't too many people I got to meet because I was just running around everywhere. But Saturday was really the day where I got to network the most. Uh, I got to go into like a little panel talking, you know, kind of like a really big CEO kind of helping me with advice about doing stuff like this on YouTube and stuff like that. So I feel like it was somewhat helpful. I'll have to see exactly how everything will work. I have different stuff. I mean, if I just wasn't so busy, I feel like I would put out a lot more content. But considering that I have two jobs, it's a lot sometimes to do. Like even just doing YouTube itself sometimes is just a full-on job considering how much time you have to take to even edit a video, advertise it, try to gain more subscribers. I mean, it's a lot. But I had that, and then we got to do a creator party. So right at the very end of VidCon, you actually get to go to a creator party right on the top of the roof. So that was really fun. I got to speak to a whole bunch of people. There weren't really many people. I think maybe it was because like Dream was there, and it was very I feel like this year, especially with the lineup of people that were there and the creators that were there, it was very gaming focused. So a lot of the people that I did network and meet there, they were obviously more like gaming YouTubers and Twitch streamers and stuff like that. So of course it was fantastic to meet all of them, but it was like I didn't really get to find too many people who did like what I do. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine, you know, like whatever. It is what it is. But I still got to meet a lot of very cool people. Maybe I'll collaborate with some of them soon. So we'll see where that goes. But it was pretty fun. We literally stayed, I think, right until closing around 7 because they kept it open until 7 that night. And then they kept the food trucks open until like 8 or 9, something like that. So I got to hang out with my new friends for a little bit longer after that. And then I was like, yeah, like I'm starting to head out. I'm like, yeah, I gotta start leaving. I was like, by the time I got to the end of VidCon, I was like, oh my god, like it's over. That's it. I have to wait until next year now. Huh. And yeah, I mean, oh my, I've been on stream for an hour and 20 minutes now. Okay, like I said, I hope you guys are enjoying my rambling because I didn't realize exactly how much I could talk. And like I said earlier in the video, I literally edit stuff out sometimes from my videos because I just ramble a little too much and I'm like, they don't really need to hear that. But I guess for a live stream, you can technically I guess you can. Um, Yeah, but that was basically my VidCon experience. Overall wrapped up. I would 10 out of 10 do it again. Hopefully they'll have it again in Anaheim next year. I know that they are doing an East Coast one. I'm not really entirely sure if I would do it or not. Well, I don't know. I don't think I would. I don't think I would do it this year, depending on what date it is. But maybe like in the future, sometimes maybe when I get like a bigger audience, because I mean, right now, of course, like I said, my audience is pretty small right now. Um, Although I will say very much though, what I am proud of on here is that I like literally doubled and tripled every single statistic on my YouTube channel. So there's that. I mean, I remember uh on my last year, actually last year I was at only 60 subs. Oh yeah, I was at 60 subs and I think I was what was it? Was it? I think I was only at like about 10,000 total views or something like that. Tell me why now. I have almost 200 subs and I think let me see. I have it on my phone actually. Um I am at let's see. I mean, I have to brag. I barely brag about stuff like this, but I just feel like today is the day to brag. Okay. Last year I was only at like about like 12, 13,000 total views. This year I'm at 62,000 views. 50,000 a lot, 50,000 jump there. And then my watch time, I remember very specifically, was only 175 hours of watch time. I now have 800 hours, 818 hours to be more specific. And yeah, subscriber count has gone a lot bigger. So I gained about 135 more subscribers over the past year, which is literally insane. I didn't even think I could do that, to be honest. Which, oh, I was gonna talk about that too. Oh, okay. Also, the fact that you get to meet a lot of different creators, and every single person has their own very specific journey that they've gone on. I remember there was only one point at VidCon where I felt a tad bit insecure about it. Um, I remember, okay, because I had met some girl and she had just gotten like 10,000 subs, I think that Saturday, like the very last day. Uh, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I just started my channel this year." I'm like, "Come again?" She's like, "Yeah, I just started this year. I had one really big video that went viral and I'm already at 10,000." And I'm like, "Oh, well, that makes me feel like crap." I remember that. That was like, oh my, I was like, oh my God, what do you even mean? Like, I'm only, I think the highest, oh, I'll talk about my video stats later. The highest video view count I have is at 922 right now. But I'm gonna talk about that more in a bit. But yeah, I was like, oh my God, like what? Like, you really had like 10,000 subs already? You just started this year? Like, what the hell am I doing then? Like, okay. And so yeah, there was that. And then there were other mid-sized creators who are like, yeah, I don't really post like too much, but I'm getting more into it now. And everyone's YouTube journey, especially like that, the realization came to me like everyone's YouTube journey is so different. It's actually quite astounding how different it is. In that aspect, it's different, but of course, all of us share stuff in common is that, we all like to create content. So there's that. But yeah, that I remember was really mind blowing. I remember that one, I think it was when it fully clicked. I'm like, this is like, I'm with my people now. Like, whoa, like this is kind of cool, but also kind of scary. Like, I'm just little old me here, I don't know. But but yeah, so yeah, VidCon was crazy enough. I think, let me see, what else do I have here? Like I said, I literally have all my schedule here, so I didn't like I knew exactly what to talk about this time around. I remember last year my live stream was so chaotic. I That was before I moved into this room actually. Um thank goodness I'm in here now. And yeah, So that was my VidCon experience. Let's see what else. Oh, I was gonna talk about all the concerts I've gone to. Okay. Ooh, okay. Okay, so there's gonna be a part here now where I talk about every single concert I've gone to since my anniversary last year. So some of these go way back. um, let's see. What did I start off with here? Because I listed everything down. So let's see. To be completely honest, I feel like I've gone to more shows, but it is what it is. I mean, I can't really afford everything right now. There are some upcoming shows I'm going to talk about soon, but yeah. Anyways, so first off, there was Chase Atlantic with Leah Kate and Xavier Maine. Now, that was that was at the YouTube Theater, and that's a brand new venue here. Actually, along with SoFi, because it's SoFi Stadium, and then the YouTube Theater is right underneath that. So that was our first experience with my friends going into the YouTube Theater. Of course, it's very nice because it's brand new. I mean, duh. We were in the pit section, of course, because we've loved Chase Atlantic for a really good amount of time. Thing is though, I don't know what it was with this audience. Because apparently they were having like bad juju along with this tour the entire time because the crowd just did not like Leah Kate. If you don't know who Leah Kate is, she's a TikTok star. They had her on the tour, and a lot of people didn't really like her music. But instead of just like being respectful and just staying in place, they actually would probably do the pretty like the most unhinged stuff that you've seen people do. Um, I know a lot of people. I might make a TikTok about this coming up soon, but I know a lot of people talk about concert etiquette nowadays. It's really it's flown out the window ever since. I mean, like before the pandemic, there were still people here and there, but I don't feel like it would be as bad as it is now. Like the concert landscape and just overall the entire vibe in general is just completely it's gone to crap, like complete shit actually. Um yeah. So I remember I think what was it? Yeah, I think she went on no, she went on I think first or second. I don't remember exactly, but I remember the air. I remember when her lettering like came out on the screen. I feel like it would be every opener's worst nightmare because I know I had one of my best friends with me. She goes by ex-girlfriend. Um I remember she was really kind of blown away by that because I feel like that would be like every small artist like worst nightmare. Uh I remember I remember when they showed Leah Kate's lettering on the screen, the energy from the room immediately, like I've never felt an energy like that ever before in my life. I remember the energy being completely sucked out of the room, and then the entire time, I don't know if it was like an inside joke thing or if they were actually doing it to like be mean, but like fans are mean sometimes, and like the fandoms, like I don't know what it is with some of these musicians and their fandoms, dude, but like I feel like most of the toxic fandom people had come to that show specifically. I don't know like what it was, but like the vibes there were just so like icky, like mm. And of course there's an opening act that I'm gonna talk about coming up very soon that I do not like, but I know damn well I wouldn't be, showing different inappropriate stuff to minors while the show is going on. There was a lot of inappropriate stuff going on, especially with kids in the audience too, which I did not like. I really did not like that. Yeah, just overall that was very icky. The show itself was great. To be completely honest though, oh, I'm gonna be so mean right now. I don't see what the point of that tour was, to be honest. It was literally oh, I like those guys too. I really like Chase Atlantic a lot, but there was really no point in doing that tour, to be honest with you. It was literally the same stuff that we had seen the last tour. The only reason they had went on tour is because they only released a deluxe version of their recent album. That was the only reason for this. And it was like only 5 extra songs. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe just because the money was drying up, or I don't know what it was, but I feel like there was literally no purpose for that tour whatsoever. I feel like if it would have been just like a new album, I would be like, okay, like of course they have to tour for the new album, like duh, what else? But it was literally just a revamp of the older album that they had released, and it was honestly there's just no point, literally no point at all. So there's that. We started off with that. That's just great. Um, let's see what else. Oh, Youngblood at the Grammy Museum. Now that okay, that one was so much fun. I think I'd never seen an actual intimate performance setting in the Grammy Museum until that moment. And he's like, "Oh, hey, like I'm going to be doing like a free show at the Grammy Museum, like come on through." So basically, I think it was just me and an ex-girlfriend actually. I think we went, it was right near Crypto Arena is where the Grammy Museum is. We actually almost didn't get there on time. It was we cut it close by like 5 minutes, and we ran in there. We got a really good spot, and that Grammy Museum is like it's so small and intimate that you can like you could see everyone who's in there. So of course he saw us and looked at us. He saw us and looked at us because he did a Q&A with Ali Hagendorf. If you don't know who she is, she's actually I think one of the heads of the rock division at Spotify. So that's like a good connect to know there. Actually, ex-girlfriend did some connecting with her when we went over there, so that was pretty good. Um, so they did the Q&A and then they did the acoustic show to end off the night. And I remember very specifically he asked the audience like, "Oh, like who was here for my first original show like at the Echo in LA?" And I think it was only me, her, and like maybe 2 or 3 other people. And he looked at all of us and like pointed at us. He's like, "Oh yeah, like that's great. Like you guys are awesome." And it was so much fun. So that was just like a small one. I remember too that day, the reason that we got in almost late was because Kendrick Lamar was in the city and he was doing 2 really big shows at Crypto Arena. And so of course all of the overflow traffic from that arena itself was like going into pretty much every other venue that's located in downtown LA, which is pretty much mostly all of them. They're if you've never been to LA, it's literally like one music venue after the other. It's a mess. It's honestly a mess. Um, so yeah, so there's that. Let's see what else. Oh, oh, this is a good one. This is a good one. When I went out on a week bender and did When We Were Young, Harry Styles, and Escape Halloween Music Festival, all in a week's span of time. That was a mess. A fun mess. Probably one of the best weeks of my life, to be honest. If you don't know, yeah, I am going to When We Were Young 2 this year. So there's that. I'm hoping that whatever happens this year, uh, is a lot better than what happened last year. My date, luckily enough, was the one that was not canceled. So there was that. I at least got to enjoy the music festival. But just the overall weather in that. Oh, the overall talk about the overall weather on that. The fact, like, honestly to this day, I'm like, people don't understand. Like, you would only understand the weather and why they needed to cancel that festival on the first day if you were there. If you were there, you would understand. But I don't know what it was. Our flights were getting delayed by like 4.5 hours. People that were there, I had friends that were already there. Some of them were going the same day that I was, but they just were there earlier than I was. And they're like, yeah, like this wind was actually terrifying, like a full-on windstorm. Full-on windstorm to the point where I got so sick coming back to LA Then I went to urgent care to make sure that it wasn't C-19 because I can't say the entire virus on YouTube here. Uh, I just made sure it wasn't that, and I had to make sure it wasn't, anything serious because I remember like I could barely breathe at times, and that's how bad like the weather was. Like I remember very specifically because it got cold near the end of the night. It was like it dropped to like almost low 40s. And I remember I was freezing even with the jacket that I had on. And so oh, that was a day that those couple of days were wild. I think it was actually that was only just the beginning of that week too. Um that was only the beginning. Yeah. Um, I literally I got to see Paramore, started crying, actually like full on tears crying, and then saw MCR in the pit section, um, for GA. So that was I think already like that was probably one of the best festivals I've ever been to in my life, considering everything else that happened. Because everything else after that was kind of crap. So there's that. Um, then we had to fly from Vegas back to LA and then had a day off. I think I went to urgent care in the morning on that Wednesday, and then I saw Harry Styles a couple of hours later after that, with some other friends. Um, Harry Styles was a lot of fun too. I don't regret going to that show, even though I was somewhat sick. So it wasn't like the virus or anything like that, so I'm like, oh, like it'll be fine. Um, so I do that. That was fun. Probably another really good show. That was at the Forum. Shows at the Forum, by the way, probably some of the best shows. The shows at the Forum are always awesome. Every single one of them. Just because that venue is like the way that it's built, you could see like even from the nosebleeds, like all the way up, you could see the artists on stage, so it's great. Um, so yeah, there was Harry Styles, and then a couple days after that, I went to Escape Halloween in San Bernardino. Um, that was actually one of my very first rave festivals that I'd gone to, so it was fun. The very first day though, I got so sick though, and I think it was only because of Vegas and then just really overworking myself with Harry Styles too. But I just had gotten the Harry Styles tickets by chance, like just by chance of the universe. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go because what other chance would I get? So, so then I go to Escape. I went to San Bernardino. Um, I literally got sick. It was only 8 o'clock in the morning. I think it was 8 o'clock at night. When I think when I got sick, right? Yeah, it was 8 o'clock at night. I was literally so sick that I almost gave up and went back to the hotel room with just by myself. But luckily enough, I had some very nice Samaritans who were fanning me off because I went over to like the edge so I can just sit. And I had a good Samaritan fanning me off, and then there was a some girl who gave me like an unopened bottle of Gatorade, and she's like, "Here, you can have it. Like, just like go ahead." And I was like, "Oh my god!" Like people at raves are actually really nice. So thank God for that. And after that, I actually felt pretty okay for the most part. I got to see a whole bunch of really cool DJs. Um, I think I saw Tiesto that night, so that was pretty fun. I saw a whole bunch of other people too. So that weekend was pretty fun, I will say. So I did all that, and so yeah, that was that. I remember that. That was probably one of the most fun weeks I've ever had in my life. Would I ever do it again? I don't know if I would do it all like just back to back to back, but you never know. If I have to do it, I will. Um, let's see. Also, oh, Palais Royale at the Palladium. That show was really fun. Not really too much happened there, to be honest. It was more of a chill crowd. I think for the most part, it wasn't really even sold out. So we got to just walk around and do whatever, and we would still get like a good place to be at for general admission because that venue is general admission anyway. So yeah, that one really not too much happened there. I do remember though that Remington came up to us because if you've never been to a Palais Royale show, the lead singer Remington likes to go around to different places in the venue and just like hang down from it, no matter how dangerous it is. Um, yeah, that's a thing. It's a rock show, of course, so it gets pretty crazy. I remember he ran right past us so that he could go hang off of the VIP ledge upstairs, and he came back down, and then he climbed on to like a structure that we were literally right next to. So like I was literally like right here next to him, like we're literally like, this close, and I remember making sure that he wasn't gonna fall, so I had my hands out just in case. But it was so much fun because he got down perfectly nicely, went back to the stage, finished out the show. So that was fun. We didn't get to meet them last time. I've already met them a couple times anyway. They're really nice guys. Sebastian, of course, though. I've had the most interactions with him. So like that's my guy. He literally even I don't know. I still to this day because I did a reaction video on them a while ago. Almost I think actually almost a year ago now. And the band commented on that video. If you see that video, I think it's for Fever Dream. They watched the video and they're like, "Oh, thank you so much for the video." And now I don't know which member watched it. Was it all of them or was it just Sebastian? Because I know Sebastian, I think he runs most of the accounts for them, like the social media accounts for them. So that was pretty wild. And so yeah, there was that. Um Oh, I went to Beyond Wonderland in March. That one was a pretty cool one. That one is a like Alice in Wonderland themed rave. That was again at the same venue that I went to in San Bernardino for Halloween, for the Escape Halloween. That one was pretty fun too, but I still liked Escape a little bit better, but that one was still pretty fun to go to. They had a really cool extra stage that they did. I really liked that stage. It was on the speedway, so that was a really fun stage to go to. I would go there a lot because it could hold a lot of people there. Some really cool DJs there too. Joji, I just saw this in my phone now. Joji was in May. I can't even believe we're already in July now. Because that concert I had been waiting to go to since December because I had gotten those tickets for I got on those tickets for my one of my best friends Savannah because she's a humongous Joji fan. And so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna totally get us all tickets and we're gonna go. So sure enough, we go to that show. It was a lot of fun, but I feel like that night was kind of cursed, to be honest. Um, just like a lot of stuff was going on that night. I don't know. I'm not gonna talk about it too much because it was kind of personal a little bit. It would just be a little TMI. But basically, yeah, a lot of stuff was going on that night. But overall, I still had a lot of fun at that concert. This, of course, the most unhinged stuff was going on in that show too. He had a whole bunch of Jack Sparrows come out and see who was the best Jack Sparrow impersonation. He even had like his interludes and like breaks were literally like toilet breaks. He would go like to the bathroom. Um, there was even a bit where he played they brought like a full blackjack table out for him to play on, and so we helped him out with that. So just yeah, that one was unhinged too. It's only me and my friends always go to the most unhinged shit anyway, so it's fine. Um. Oh, we went to see me and my friend Amy, who's I think she's in the chat. Um, Me and Amy, we went to see Twice at SoFi Stadium. That concert was so much fun too. Um, that was my very first K-pop concert I'd ever been to in my life. It was so much fun. Um, we had section we were 238, so we were in the 200 section. We actually had a pretty good view. I feel like my phone doesn't do the view justice, to be honest. And that's probably only because I have an iPhone 8. My phone is old. I know I'm probably gonna get a new phone soon. um but I feel like even like the recordings on my phone did not do that like view justice because it was so good. And like even like SoFi is a humongous stadium, so of course we had trouble finding stuff. Willie had trouble finding our parking area because that place is so big and no one knew like where to direct us to, like literally no one in the staff. So there was that. We had to figure that out on our own. It took us 20 minutes to find our parking spot. And then We had to walk from where our spot was, we had to walk all the way around because like the way that they have that stadium is it's kind of like more more like the most of them are in the front, but then there's some on the sides, like not all of them are on the sides though. And so with our entrance, we actually had a VIP entrance area, so we didn't know that our section was like a VIP area, so we had our own like full bar and like full snack bar, so that was really really cool. I was like, oh yeah, like this I could get used to so much. And so of course that show was amazing. um I really ended up liking a lot of the members performances and stuff, but I'm like, Momo's for sure with the pole dance, that was pretty iconic, to be honest. People are going to talk about that performance for a very long time. Yeah, yes, Annie's in here. So yeah, accidental VIP. Yeah, basically that's what it was. And so so yeah, every member's performances were pretty good. Um yeah, overall it was just a fun day, but it's just so hectic. Leaving SoFi Stadium too. I might head there for a couple of other shows. If I do, it might be very last minute, but just getting out of that area just is terrible. And the parking, can we talk about the parking here for a second? These people are literally thieves, like they're robbers. Tell me why they were gonna charge you if you bought parking early, you only had to pay $50, which again in and of itself is super expensive anyway. But at SoFi, they're like, oh, we're gonna charge you 60 to $80 depending on where you park. $80. That's all I gotta say. And that's not even for VIP parking. Yeah. Already I was like, no. So that's gonna be every once in a while that I go to that venue. So there was that. I even had gone to the pop-up shop they had done here in March. That one was really fun too. Got to have a bunch of cool experiences there. And let's see what else. And then recently I saw Grandson. Oh, I saw Grandson at the Wiltern just very recently. His show was fantastic. I almost didn't realize that his show was there on that day because I feel like either someone on his team doesn't do a really good job of advertising shows. So we, like my friends and I, completely forgot that this show was even happening. Um, but we were glad that we ended up going though, because who ended up coming? So basically, Grandson and like Jordan, he had teased that like, oh, some special guests are gonna be coming to the show, and I'm like, okay, is it gonna be someone lame? Because if it is, I'm gonna walk out. So sure enough, it starts out with K-Flay. Now K-Flay, I actually really did like her performance too. I've heard a lot of good things about her, so I was very excited to see her performance. Tell me why Tom Morello from The Rage Against the Machine comes out not once, but twice. Once during K-Flay's set and once during Grandson's set. And then the fact that barely any people in the audience knew who that was, I felt so old in that moment. I was like, oh, I remember it because I remember going to the bathroom right after K-Flay had ended, and I was like, is no one gonna talk about the fact that Tom Morello just came out? And so like no one else like said anything, but there was only one girl who was like, yeah, like I was literally at Barricade and I was dying over there. So that already blew my mind. And then to top it all off, I didn't think there was gonna be another one, of course. So then he Jordan is like, oh, I've worked with him so many times, and he's like giving clues to like who it could be. I'm like, it's Mike Shinoda, isn't it? From the Linkin Park, because I remember very specifically that he said that he's worked with him. I think he even worked with him on the last album that he made too. I was like, it's Mike Shinoda, it's Mike Shinoda, and sure enough, it is the one and only Mike Shinoda from Linkin Park. And I was like, you cannot tell me right now that I am pit in this area where Mike Shinoda and Tom Morello are literally in the same building together. And I'm literally right there at like 50 feet distance. That one like blew my mind. Okay. So there was that. We had a lot of fun there. We went to Denny's, my friends and I went to the Denny's right around the corner from the Wiltern. We saw a group of two friends arguing. It was kind of like Jerry Springer after, so we got dinner and a show. So that was great too. Um, it, that was great. Oh man. And then just very recently, this past week actually, it's been a full week now because it was last Sunday. I saw Fall Out Boy and Bring Me the Horizon and Royal and the Serpent and Newfound Glory at BMO Stadium. Now that show was unhinged too. I will say that show was unhinged. I cannot even believe that happened a week ago. To be honest, um, yeah, I was pit section for that show too. So you can only imagine. Um, I think it was my friend, ex-girlfriend, and I. We were in pit. We had my other friends there too, but they were on the floor behind us. So we would go meet up with them. But just the stuff that was going on in that pit was so unhinged at times. Um, I remember very specifically. Ooh, we're really gonna get into it. Okay, story time coming up now. Okay. Um, so we get there super early. The doors opened at 4:30, and I'm talking like 4:30 in the afternoon where it's still sunny outside, right? The show didn't start until like 6:15. So we get there at around 4:30. We didn't go inside until like 5:15 around like around that time. And so we had a good spot at pit and we're like, okay, we're gonna stay in here because we're trying to see Royal and the Serpent and Bring Me the Horizon, like right in this area. Like we were only third row. Like we were third row. Like we're close to the stage. And so right in front of us, right in front of us, there's this couple here. And I'm like, oh crap. Like they're drunk. They're so drunk. Like already, like we haven't even started the show yet. And they're drunk, right? And especially the dude. So it's like literally, I'm like literally cringing from how bad this is. Okay, so let me just try to get it out. So so remember, so Royal and the Serpent comes on now, right? So I've already seen Royal and the Serpent live. I feel like they're actually a very great band. They kept the energy going. A lot of people were vibing along to it. And like, oh, I actually talked to the girl a couple of months ago before that, like in person, because I saw her at a D Wayne show. If you don't know who D Wayne is, he's like a really big. He's not really big, but he's like kind of like a mid-level performer. We had seen his concerts at the Echo a while ago, and she was there, and so we actually talked to her for a little bit. And so we saw her and her show with her band was really great. A lot of people were vibing along to it. Everyone was really liking it. And of course, this drunk grown man. So I think it started he was quiet. He was quiet up until the time to when the band started doing a cover of Nirvana. I think what song was it? I forgot what song it was exactly, but they started doing a cover of one of the Nirvana songs, and all of a sudden you just see his hands, and he starts like flipping them off, like full on middle finger, and like doing like the down, like the thumbs down thing, and he's doing that the rest of the entire show that they're on, like just flipping them off and doing like the boo like down like thumbs down thing, and he's like booing them too at times. And so like we're all looking at him like what the hell is like this guy on, like what are you doing? Like you paid, because our thing was like, you paid all this money to literally do that. So like I'm like, okay, like this is kind of odd. Like I don't know if I'm liking this very much. Again, like the vibe like completely got sucked out when this guy started doing like that stuff. And so then Royal and the Serpent ends, and so then it becomes funny because they get off the stage. Oh, and I forgot to mention too, during Royal and the Serpent stage, Demi Lovato was actually brought out. And I remember very specifically, I'm like, wait a second, that's Demi Lovato on the side over there. What is she doing here? And sure enough, she's like, oh, welcome Demi Lovato. So we saw her do a song with Demi Lovato, so that was pretty cool. But anyway, so yeah, they come off stage now, and at that point, I think like other people in the crowd are trying to talk to him, like, dude, like, like what you're doing is not cool, and he's just really not giving a crap about it. And then Royal and the Serpent, the entire band comes back out. They peek like from behind, like where the area was, and they're like, "Oh, like who was talking shit about us?" And so like all of us, without any hesitation, we start pointing at him, like we're like this one right here. And then the entire band starts flipping him off and talking the greatest freaking shit about him, and it was hilarious. Like we actually had a really good laugh about that. Um, Oh, and it just gets even more unhinged. So sure enough, okay, I'm gonna talk about this now. I'm not a New Found Glory fan. Never have been. Probably never will be. Also, just because of the fact that uh, one of them was involved with Hayley Williams, who is literally like Paramore is like my all-time favorite band, and from the amount of tea that I've heard about this specific New Found Glory, it really makes me not like them even more. Because this is what happens when you have friends who work in the rock industry or are connected or are musicians in the industry. You kind of start learning certain stuff about certain bands and how their attitudes really are. Um, so I'm about to spill a little bit of tea for you guys today. Huh. So this is how you know that they're bitter old men and that they just literally want to hang on to their Warp Tour glory here. No pun intended. So basically, right? Uh already just even enough with like the divorce and him, Chad being involved with Hayley. She was literally underage whenever they got together, so that already is a red flag there. But then they break up and they get divorced, right? And that happened a long time ago. Hayley now is happy, and I love it for her. But her ex-husband is still bitter, and their entire band is still bitter about it. And you want to know how I know about that? So we have an industry friend, and they're in a smaller band, and he said that they perform at a skate shop every now and then, his band, like his own band. But apparently New Found Glory was also performing at same venue, and I guess they had done that performance while the new Paramore album had just come out, the This Is Why album. So the venue itself, like the skate shop, they had a poster of that up on their wall somewhere, or wherever it was, right? They had a poster of the album cover, out now, whatever, right? Tell me why I get the tea um that apparently the entire New Found Glory band, they rip the entire poster down from the wall and they just start talking major crap about Hayley. So that already, I'm like, you know what? You guys are super bitter because she's already moved on from you guys a long time ago. So like, what is your issue? So like already never liked them. So then I had to sit through their performance and watch it, right? And I don't care if anyone says shit about it. And this is all gonna come back right now. It's gonna tie everything together. So I was like, you know what? I don't care. Like, I'm just gonna have to sit through this. I'm literally gonna sit like this with my arms crossed the entire performance anyway. And it was so funny because there are other Paramore fans in the audience too, and you can literally tell because some of them were wearing their shirts big, bright and loud, right in the front rows. So it was great. And um, so so sure enough, my friend, ex-girlfriend, one of my best friends, ex-girlfriend, she goes, dude, just wait, he's a New Found Glory fan. That guy in the audience who's, bothering everyone, right? She's like, oh, for sure he's a New Found Glory fan. And sure enough, he was. He was there for New Found Glory. And I looked at her and I was like, we literally both started laughing. We were in such disbelief. Um, so yeah, there was that. So the guy that was bothering everybody, flipping off the band beforehand, he was a New Found Glory stan. I'm like, that it all makes sense now. I understand now. So so then, the New Found Glory poster, like how every big artist, like they have a poster behind them. The poster rolls down. It's literally the very old Warp Tour logo, but just with New Found Glory in it instead, like instead of the Vans Warp Tour text instead. So I'm like, okay, we're like really holding on to that a lot, aren't we? So then So then, New Found Glory, they start the very first song. At this point, I don't boo or flip anyone because I'm respectful. I'm not gonna be a total bitch about it, you know? So I'm just sitting there with my arms crossed like this the entire time, right? Not really doing much or just kind of going on my phone. Like, I really don't have the energy to boo someone or flip someone off in the crowd, right? This guy, though, like, he was shitting himself. I don't know like what was going on there. Immediately when the very first song starts off, this this guy gets his Lakers hat, and I kid you not, I kid you not, just literally yeets that thing on stage, like throws it as far as he can, all the way to like where it got on the stage, right? So at that point, I'm like literally dying of laughter because this guy is like literally on one at this point. And then we get to like maybe midway through their set or something like that. So at that point, also I forgot to mention at that point too, this same guy is trying to rush to the front when there's people already there, so that he can get any kind of interaction with any of the band members, which he did not get any interaction there, so there was literally no point. And then, so then now we get to the middle of the show, and this dude, I kid you not, takes off his shirt and just starts like literally like doing this, like just throwing it around or whatever. And everyone around me looks at him and we're like, what the hell is happening? Like we're all looking at him. I literally like I look to the people beside me. Thank goodness everyone else around us was very nice, because the rest of us were all just like we're like, what in the world is happening here? Like we're all dying of laughter, like full on. We're like, what the hell is this guy doing? Like we're looking at security, like we're trying to see if they're gonna do anything about it. And then the same guy, he's there like with his wife or whatever, because we found out because like they were together, you could tell. And so the girl is telling him like, dude, like put your shirt back on, and he flips her off, and then like touches her face or like does something. At that point, I'm like, dude, like if he fucking touches her right now, or like I was like, all of us were like ready to like jump him on sight at that point. So then New Found Glory ends their set, right? And so then at that point, everyone around him is telling him like, dude, you need to calm down. Like he was like literally flailing his body around. I don't know if he was trying to start a pit or what, but if you know anything about how rock concerts go, you don't generally start a pit right in the center of like where the barricade is. You usually do that in the center of where general admission is, which they had pits going on. Like if you just moved around and like turned the corner, it was right there. So he's like, oh, I didn't know, like, what, he's like, he's doing that, like, oh, I didn't know, like, whatever, that I was bothering everybody. And so this guy just leaves on his own accord. He's like, you know what, like, I'll just leave. And, like, no one asked him to do that. Like, they were just telling him to calm down. But we are like, you know what, even better that he leaves, because once he left that, the energy around the pits got a lot better, like 10 times better. And we even told our friends too who were at the floor, we're like, dude, like this guy's like fucking nuts. Like I don't know what was going on. And so finally after that, there wasn't too much drama after that. We saw my friend and I saw Bring Me the Horizon right in the pit section. I was really shaking when they came out because I love that band a lot. Oh my god. Like I was shaking to the point because like I said, we were only like third row. So we could see Ollie's face like right there in front of us. It was great. It was so awesome. And even the band too, like the rest of the band, we were dancing along with them too, and they were so great too. Like that entire band too. I felt like their set was so short though. Like I don't know what it is. I feel like just Bring Me the Horizon just needs to do a headlining tour. Like I'm not entirely too sure like what the reason was for them joining Fall Out Boy on their in this show, but overall, that was a lot of fun. And then Fall Out Boy came out. We had gotten food before that because I was terribly hungry after that Bring Me the Horizon stuff went down. So we got food from the venue and then just went down and saw Fall Out Boy. I was fangirling over Pete Wentz like I was 11 or 12 again, so that was fun. And they had a whole bunch of cool stuff. Although I will say, for the people who were there or just going to any other show of theirs in any other city, tell me why they had pyro and fireworks going off like every other song. It was a little bit like excessive at times. Like even I was like, oh my, like we gotta tone it down a little bit. You know, like how mostly like a lot of people will do sometimes they'll do something right at the very beginning, like their very first song. Like sometimes they will, but not all the time. But a lot of people save it for like the pyrotechnics and stuff like that, fireworks for the very end of the show, you know. Like they'll save like the big finale, right? But Fall Out Boy, like I don't know what it was. Their show, I like I said, was very fun again, like I said. But they had pyro going off like every other song. It was like boom, like the fire going off, fireworks. It was a lot. It was a lot. Like to the point where I was like, oh my goodness, like even the fire too, like they had fire effects going on and it was so hot. Like I remember even my friends at the floor were like they were in the kind of in the back and they're like, oh yeah, like we felt that. And I'm like, imagine how we felt when we were in the freaking pit, okay? Like but overall, still very fun. Um yeah, the entire band I will say was very fun. Even Pete too, but because Pete has he has like a flamethrower guitar, so that was really cool. Like every time that guitar came out, I was fangirling over that. I was like, oh my god, that's actually really cool. So yeah, so he did that, and that was great. And let's see, I'm looking at the chat right now. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Oh, nice. I'm sure the New York show is gonna be very fun. I feel like New York always has a good show too with every other artist. But yeah, so there's that. And now I think for the rest of the year have coming up, my upcoming shows. I have Paramore coming up in I think mid June. Actually, what's the date? The 9th? 10 days. Oh, my Paramore show is in 10 days. Okay. I just came to that realization right now. Okay, wait. Okay, so yeah, my Paramore show is coming up in 10 days. I'm super excited. I actually have GA for that show. So I'm gonna be dying the entire day. That's gonna be a lot of fun, I'm sure. Hopefully I get to see my mother and father's there, up close. So there's that. Oh, that's gonna be a fun one. That's at the Forum too. I'm like, of course it's gonna be at the best venue too, because the Forum is the greatest, like one of the greatest venues here in LA. So I have that them at the Forum, and then who else? I wrote it down. Let me see. I have them at the Forum, and then oh, a good one. Hard Summer Music Festival on my birthday weekend. That'll be at the Coliseum, BMO Stadium, and Exposition Park. They're literally using all of those venues in like one festival area, so that's gonna be a lot of fun. A lot of really big headliners are performing that weekend. Skrillex is actually performing like headlining on my actual birthday date, so that I'm sure is gonna be a lot of fun. So that's gonna be my birthday weekend pretty much because it's on August 5th and 6th. So that I'm really looking forward to a lot. Um, oh, I'm going to see. I'm actually gonna see Blackpink. I'm seeing them at the end of August. That one should be a fun one too. That'll be at Dodger Stadium though. I've never been to a concert at Dodger Stadium yet, so we'll see how that show goes. I'm sure it'll be fun. And then let's see. Oh, And then I'm seeing Bad Omens. I'm seeing them in October. That I'm sure is gonna be fun. I'm seeing them at the Palladium in Hollywood. Same place that I saw Palais Royale a little bit back. Um, yeah, that one should be pretty fun. I simp over the members. I'm not gonna lie. I simp over every single member of that band. So that's gonna be a trip. So oh man. And then of course, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, um, I'm going to When We Were Young again in October. So I think honestly, I'm not sure. Okay, because see, I somehow ended up getting tickets for both Saturday and Sunday, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna go for both days. I might end up going only for Sunday, but I'm gonna have to see about that. It just accidentally happened that way, so I don't know. I have to see. I have to see kind of closer to the event on what the plan is gonna be for that, because that's still in October. I still have a little bit of time for that. Um, and then that's pretty much it. And then for the most part too, there's other shows I'm considering going to. Because Joji's doing another arena tour. I think he's actually playing Crypto this time around in October. Um, I haven't gotten tickets to that. Like I'll have to see how I feel about going to that because the tickets are so expensive and just I've already spent so much money on everything I've done over the summer, like with VidCon and the other concerts and festivals I'm going to, only just this summer alone. So I'm like, I can't pay for the ticket right now. Like, I have to generate enough money to see if I can even be able to go to the rest of the stuff. But I know Joji's playing at Crypto in August, so I might head to that depending on how the tickets work and if the ticket prices go down. And then of course, the Doja Cat tour went live a little bit ago. She's playing in LA November 2nd, so like right after Halloween. The tickets for that tour though, tell me why the nosebleed seats and I literally saw like the base prices too. Like these are not even Ticketmaster Platinum or whatever prices they are. The base tickets for the Doja Cat concert in the nosebleeds, like the 300 sections for Crypto, are $100 with fees, and I don't even think that's including fees or anything like that. So I don't know, but it was $100, and then for the 200 section and the 100 section, it's $200 each, and then the floor section I think was like $400 or $500 a ticket, which I'm like, oh my, like this is outrageous. Like I can't pay that right now. Like that I'll have to wait. Like if I'm gonna do that concert, I'm gonna have to probably wait until a couple of days or so before. And pro tip too, if you're considering going to a concert and you haven't gotten your tickets yet, I always recommend now waiting at least 2 days before the show is happening and checking back on Ticketmaster to see entirely what's going on with it, because a lot of the times what production does is that they'll say that a show is sold out, but they'll kind of release a couple of more tickets here and there, like that are base price. And so people, like, that's kind of what I did with my Twice tickets. I was originally supposed to sit in the 300 section actually, and then there was a 200 section ticket which I ended up, that's where I ended up sitting, and it was only like $150 that I bought that for. So I was like, you know what, I could sell off my tickets, I could pay for that because it was only like the base price, and I was like, that's perfect actually. So there was that. And then yeah, I mean, I would just recommend doing that. So I'm gonna probably do that with the Doja Cat ticket too. It's very hit or miss though, so it doesn't work all the time. Sometimes you can even check like the day of the show, but I have work and stuff, so I kind of have to plan stuff a little bit in advance. So there's that. But that's pretty much all of that. Holy crap! I've been on here for almost 2.5 hours. Oh my. Okay, I hope you guys are enjoying this live stream because I did not expect to be on here for this long. I honestly thought I was only gonna be on here for an hour, but it's already like 2.5 hours almost. Wow. Okay. Oh, I talk a lot. Okay. Um, let's see. What else was I gonna talk about? Let's see. Oh, okay. So I was gonna address some stuff as far as what's going on with the channel and stuff like that. So okay. So I see, okay, Oh, you know what? I should vlog that concert. I just looked at the comment right now. I'm actually so that's actually one of the things I was gonna talk about. Um, I was gonna talk about concert vlogs. I don't know if you guys would like concert vlogs and stuff like that, but I've kind of been considering doing it. I just don't know entirely how it would work though. Cause I feel like all of my concerts that I go to, like there's always stuff like really funny stuff that happens, and like people don't really ever get to see it. So I've kind of considered maybe starting concert vlogs as far as year three starts. Um, Also, as far as album reviews and reactions go, I know I don't do a lot. That's only because I just don't like the format I do it in. I hate it. I hate the format I do it in because it just takes so long to edit. Like with the music video reaction, you kind of just get everything out there. You can edit it to however you want, and then you put it out on YouTube. But with like the amount of footage that I have to sift through for an album like a review, it's just a lot. So I've always just been like kind of considering like what I could do with that. Either it's gonna have to be a super short video where I just condense everything into like a script, or I'm gonna kind of have to do what everyone else does, which maybe I might do. I might try it out. It's just live listening to the album, basically having the song play it in the back while I react to it in at whatever I'm doing. So I still haven't fully talked about like the logistics of all of that just yet, but I am considering bringing those back. It's just that the album reactions, they don't get the same amount of views that the music video ones do. So I'm like, why am I gonna put all this effort into doing an album review when they don't even account for not even a quarter of my views? It's not worth it. So there's that. Um, Let me see what else because I wrote everything down. Oh, okay, this is another big one I get. I don't know how many people from Instagram are gonna watch this. Um, it's very nice. I'm gonna try to say this in the kindest way possible. So it's very nice of you to, message me and, say like, hey, can you react to a song of mine? And just at this point right now, I genuinely can't. I just really have to focus on bigger artists. There's sometimes right now it's so tough right now to where even at times on my video views, just even getting 100 views on a video is tough. And I can't like maybe when I become a bigger creator and like people trust my opinion a lot more, I'll be like, okay, like maybe every now and then I can do like a new artist thing because I was doing that in the very beginning. If you were an OG subscriber here, you would know I would actually be doing something like that. But it just doesn't get the same amount of views that it would if I'm talking about a more established artist. You know what I mean? So I've planned that way in advance about talking about smaller artists that I talk to and hang out with. But for right now, I'm not. It's not gonna happen right now. It's very nice of you to think of me like that I can like advertise your music out like that. But even me sometimes even getting people to interact or engage with your content or even just do like whatever you want them to do sometimes it's hard. There's really nothing I can do. I can't really do too much about it. I just can't. So there's that. So right now I'm not taking any like smaller artist requests or anything like that. To be completely honest, even with recommendations, sometimes I won't even take those only because I have to be super interested whether I like the music artist or not. I have to be interested in what I'm watching because if I'm not interested in what I'm watching, it's going to be bored and it's going to translate onto camera and no one wants a boring video. It is what it is. So with that, yeah, right now, I'm not saying I'll never, ever, ever react to smaller artists and stuff like that. I'm just saying for right now, it's not gonna happen. Especially with everything else I have going on in my life. I can't. Like I said, it's very nice of you to think of me like that, but just right now, I can only do the people that are gonna bring in views for me right now. And that's all I'm gonna say about it. If you don't like it, then that's your issue. It is what it is. And so let me see what else. Oh, also, Also, right now, for the time being, and just like mentally right now, I'm just not in the bed. I'm not in the best headspace right now. Um, I've had a lot of really personal stuff happening to me, especially over this past year from July 9th, 2022 to July 9th, 2023. Um, there has been a lot of really, really terrible stuff that has happened, along with, of course, there's many good things, but there's also just been a really hard stuff happening to me so at points, and just like for me mentally right now, I just cannot check message requests. I'm not gonna message you. I just don't want to deal with it. If you comment on the videos, like on my YouTube, I'll interact with that, of course, but like I'm talking about more with like Instagram messages and like people asking me, especially like people on the internet who never have watched my content and still want to talk to me. I'm not really up to talking to you, right? Like right now, I really don't. Like right now, I just really need to focus on getting this channel together, getting all of my good fans to come here and have a great time. Um, just right now, I just really don't want to talk to any like crazy people right now. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. Because I'm gonna be so mean if I keep saying more. You see, sometimes I can hold myself back. I can be mean, but I'm not gonna be like super mean about stuff. I have to set boundaries. You know, like every creator has their own boundaries, and I think I'm finally finding like my voice and like what my boundaries are. So if no one can respect them, then of course they're gonna have no place on the channel anyway. So it is what it is. Ah, so yeah, other than that, I'm just planning on doing a lot more videos. I have a lot of music that I'm really interested to see exactly what it's gonna sound like. There's a lot coming up. There's even actually some that's already come out. I just haven't had the time to really film any videos as of right now because, like I said it in the very early beginning of the stream, my life has just been hectic this summer, and even just this past weekend, I didn't even realize, like, it didn't set in that this was even all actually happening until last night. So yeah, there's that. And so yeah, that's pretty much everything to go. Expect more videos. I'm gonna definitely change up my editing style soon. I just have to figure out exactly how to work that editing software. Also gonna probably make better thumbnails once I actually really start learning how to do even more complicated thumbnails. Um, so yeah, just planning on doing all this stuff, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see exactly what happens for year three. I can't even believe it's year. I can't even just saying year three. Like, where did the time go? Like, I literally remember it was like what 2021 I started. I was I think it was just when C19 was still going on and like somewhat it was still going on. And I remember I think I had this idea for this channel uh for a good like year and a half. I didn't actually but I don't think I was really confident until 2021, which is why I'm just so like shocked about it. But other than that, I think that's pretty much what else is gonna go on. Um so yeah, that's pretty much all the plans coming up with uh my stuff, my content on here. Yeah. And then last but not least, I'm almost done. I cannot believe I've been on here for 2.5 hours. This is wild. Okay. Um probably time to wrap it up a bit. All right. So last thing, um, I was just gonna talk about some like other stuff. Let me see. What other? I had like some questions here too. Oh, I got a question about this from someone a while ago. Um, it was anything that you like or dislike about YouTube in general. Honestly, I really like everything about YouTube. The only thing I don't like is the copyright system. I hate it with a passion. I'm just gonna say that. I hate it with the passion. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Even just even just like with a video, they'll copyright you for literally anything. And that's not even for music. It's even with TV shows too in general too. Like a lot of companies, they just they'll copyright it so fast. Like actually so fast. It's not even funny. Um, but everything else I really like about it. You know, just being able to interact with people. Of course, I've had dislikes and negative comments here and there. A lot of people, for the most part, I think generally enjoy my content, which is really all you can hope for. But of course, you have different people who just don't enjoy their lives, so they just have to go crap on everybody else's. I think the meanest comment I've gotten so far on here was that I looked like it's even so funny, like I'm laughing about it. Um I think it was, what was it? Oh, I look like Sid from Ice Age, like like that like sloth or whatever from Ice Age the movie, and he was saying like like the person who was commenting was like, oh, like why are your eyes so far apart? I was like, first off, genetics, because that's why, and second of all, like okay, like whatever, like I don't care, like you call me sloth, like you really thought you ate that, but you didn't, like. I even told Ashley at VidCon about that, and she started laughing. She's like, "Oh my goodness, like why? Like that is so random," and it's just funny. Like I don't know. And let's see what else. What other negative comments have I gotten? Oh, I got one. Let me see. Um, there was one that I gotten a while ago from doing my Machine Gun Kelly album review, which that guy is irrelevant now, so good, serves him right, right? Ever since he broke up with Megan Fox, right? Irrelevant. It is what it is. Um, I think his fans came to flood on my video, and one of them said, "Oh, you should go back to oh, I remember. You should go back to Wadada." And he said that because that was a Kepler reaction video that I had done a while back, and like he thought he ate that too, but he didn't. Like these people really think that they eat like with their insults, but it's just not. It's not working. Um, Let me see another one. Oh, the classic one. The classic one. You're too you're too pause heavy. I'm like, okay, and so don't watch it. Duh. Like, what else do you want me to say about that? Yeah, you're really pause heavy, and it would just be better if you just watch the video and let it flow. I've become a reaction channel now at this point. I wasn't gonna even be this. It just turned into it. For any of you OGs, you would literally know this channel is only supposed to be a live streaming channel. This happened literally accidentally. So, yeah, you're too pause heavy. It would just be better if you let it flow and just let it play. Well, then don't watch it then. Okay. And yes, they did break up. Yeah, Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly, they've been broken up for a while. And his music career has fucking tanked ever since. So serves him right. Anyways, so yeah. Um, yeah, you're too pause heavy and you should just let it flow. Don't watch then. Why are you here? Like make make it make sense. If you're gonna literally say something or give like some kind of criticism, at least have it make sense before you actually like post about it for everybody else to see. So there's that. Like they literally just want you to just watch it like this and just not say anything. Okay, so why do people watch reaction channels then? So for them to just sit there? No. God, freaking imbeciles. I can't. I can't. And then, oh, what else? Oh, oh, okay. There's a last one that sticks out in my mind right now. I literally have gotten a comment saying, "Ooh, I don't know if this is, I don't know if it's offensive or not," but someone says, "Oh, are you trans?" And I'm like, okay, first off, if I was, why would that even matter? Second, no. And third, you really thought you ate with that again. But what? How is trans an insult? Like, like it had like underlying messages of like being an insult. You know what I mean? Like it was very kind of like the comment was kind of like oh, you got pwned. But I'm like, okay, like how is that an insult? Like people actually deal with that in real life. Like that's not something that you can seriously joke about. But I'm like, okay, you thought you ate it with that, whatever. I don't know. People are weird online. I'll say that. You find like the really good, like you find the really good ones on here, but then coupled with that, you find like the really weird weirdos on here. Like the internet is a very scary place. And that's honestly why, like, I'd come up with this concept for this channel in 2020, but I didn't put myself out there until 2021 because honestly, I don't think I was ready. Like, I wasn't ready to actually, like, deal with all of that yet. Now I am, like, I don't care anymore. But, just like, people are so weird. Like, just like the fact that you come onto the internet to, like, just say, like, the most outlandish stuff that you can possibly say. And of course, like, now being in that creator community, like, these people they're real people, and they still, you see it. You see it whether you want to or not. You still see it. And it's so weird. Like, people are so corny. Like, I don't know. Like, if I just didn't like a video, I would just, like, click off of it and, like, never watch the video again, or just, like, move on. Like, I wouldn't take the time and energy to, like, comment something on it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not like that. So, I don't know. People are super weird and corny. Yeah. Yeah. But, let me see what else. I mean, a lot of these other questions that I have on here were pretty. I already explained it a lot. I've been on here for 2.5 hours now, so yeah. Um, oh, favorite and least favorite video to make. I will say I really like my XG shooting star left right video. That's probably one of my favorite videos I've ever made on my channel, to be completely honest. And of course that video has the most views. As far as video wise how that goes, I think that video has 922 views on it. I'm like so close to 1,000. Like, get me there, get me, like, I'm right there. And then let me see. My top 5 videos are um that XG video, and then um I think it was the Glimpse of Us reaction by Joji, because that one was it was up there. It was my top video for a really long time until I posted that XG video. So that one is still there from last year. And then I had the what was it? The Avril Lavigne and Youngblood collaboration song that they did. That's like my, I think, third. Like, I had a lot of subscribers from that. To be completely honest, I was like, oh, like, this video is kind of mid anyway, but I'll just post it up. But a lot of people ended up subscribing from that video, so I'm like, oh, okay, like, cool, I guess. And then let's see what else. Oh, my Bad Omens video just cracked my top 5 too. So that's there. I really like doing that video too. That one was fun. And then I think fifth was the XG Cypher that they did a while back. Yeah, because a lot of people in the comments of the first video were saying, oh, you should react to the Cypher, react to it. I'm like, you know what? Like, fine, I'll do it. So sure enough, that one got me a pretty good amount of views too. So yeah, I mean, that was fun. I mean, as far as least favorite video to make though, I mean, I don't think I really have one. That one's kind of a hard one because I don't know. I feel like at some point, like, you just kind of have to like the stuff that you're putting out, or else it's just inauthentic. But I think I don't know. I don't really have like, I don't have like a least favorite video, but I there's other videos where it took me a little bit longer to get them up because copyright was just being incredibly worse during those videos. I think actually, you know what? As far as that goes, maybe the attention video by Doja Cat, because that copyright system was really giving me a really hard time putting that video up, and even just getting that up in the first place was already kind of hectic. I think I had to make 4 different versions of that video just alone so that it can even go up in the first place. Um, Also, I really like my Bring Me the Horizon videos, but as far as that goes, every single time I post a video about them, my videos always get blocked in Russia. But I think that's because they have, like, some type of, like, anti-gore, like, anti-blood, like, something like that. Because every single time I react to something that has, like, blood or gore in it, it automatically gets blocked in Russia, and it's only that country there. So I don't know what's up with that. So that can be a pain too. So I think as far as, like, least favorite, that's kind of what it is. Let me see. Um, let's see. Ooh, most famous person I've ever talked to, well, I live in LA, so I talked to a whole bunch of people. Um, I mean, I don't know. I think, okay, well, I mean, most famous person I've ever talked to. I mean, I guess if you could count people when I talked to when I was a kid too, I met Miley Cyrus one time, and that was like in her early Hannah Montana days. There's a picture of it somewhere because we took a picture. It was like an official meet and greet. Um, so I remember her being really, really nice. I think I was only like 10 or 11, something like that, when I met her. Um, and that was when, and this is such a throwback. This is when she was doing like the Hannah Montana and Miley Cyrus like Best of Both Worlds tour. Oh, that brings back memories. Oh, yeah, I met her during that time. As far as more recently goes, though, um, I don't know. I feel like I talk to a lot of band members, especially now because I hang around in that sort of crowd. And like I said, I live in LA, so everyone starts knowing each other once you start getting into that community. But I had a really long conversation with Sebastian from Palais Royale, so he's pretty cool. I talked to him and his fiance Larissa, who I think they're actually getting married soon. I think around my birthday is what they're saying. Um, but he was really, really nice. He had a full-on conversation with me and my friend for like a really long time, actually. That was before he had put out, I think that was before the entire band put out the next album, like I think the Fever Dream album. And then who else am I missing? I feel like I'm missing someone. And of course, all of the big YouTubers that I met at VidCon. I mean, you can't like Safia has 10 million subscribers basically. Smosh has been around YouTube since the beginning of time, like pretty much dinosaur times. Um, the Morel twins, they're pretty big on YouTube too. They have a couple million. Um, Ashley Ippolito, who follows me now on Instagram, so a lot of really big interactions that I had this year. I mean, it could only get so much better from here. I'm hoping at least. So we'll see how year 3 goes. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. That's pretty much everything I wanted to address. Wow. Wow. I went on for 2.5 hours, guys. I have never done anything like this in my life. Wow. Okay. Um, well, okay then. It's already 12:45. I started this at 10. So, I better go get lunch. I'm celebrating with my friends a little bit later on tonight, so I'm really, really excited about that. So we'll see how that goes. But man, if you watch this live or if you're gonna watch this later, thank you guys so much for watching. Holy crap, I really vlogged for 2.5 hours. Holy crap. Okay. I've never done anything this long in my life ever, so this is like wild. Okay. Um, anyways, I will see you guys all in the upcoming videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for being with me on here for 2 years. I can't even believe I'm saying that. Let's make year 3 super duper special, and I cannot wait to see what is gonna happen this year. Oh, okay. Wow. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in all the videos coming up. I cannot wait. Thank you so much for watching.